have the look as if it's got goals in them. It was Elding and Lowe, Boyle in behind. Is that how they're lining up?
Yeah, and this is where I think the question marks are raised with how Hibs set up at times. Owen Eldon is a fantastic young talent that, for me, Hibs are actually lucky to have, considering the interest that was in him before he came to Hibs, and he came here to obviously develop his career and then look to maybe go somewhere of a higher level. He's got real ability. How do you get the best out of him? That is key for David Gray in this Hibs side. Martin Boyle, if given a chance, he's been a fantastic servant for Hibs, and he has got goals in him. And Nathan Lowe has been talking this week, once 20 plus goals, scored in the home game here in the friendly against Bromby, and then last week when he got that one, he misses a target. For me, it's got to be in the back of the net, or at least make the goalie make a save. So it's a huge night for him, obviously off the back of saying he's going to get 20 goals plus. An early goal would be brilliant. Momentum does change games, but even if Hibs do go 2-3-0, it just takes one lapse of concentration, momentum swings, and this Malisheva side have shown that they can punish Hibs for the mistake. They've done that last week, so the start of the game is essential for Hibs to get on the front foot and look like they're going to be really forceful and create chances here.
Well, I can see both captains on the pitch now, engaging in the pre-match formalities, so I think it's high time I introduce Thomas Duncan, our match commentator, to tonight's proceedings. Good evening, Thomas.
Hi David, good evening everyone. Yeah, Hibs looking to do what they've only managed once before in their entire history, which has come from 2 or more goals down to win a European tie. Did it famously against Dino Zoff's Napoli back in the 60s. Slightly different opposition tonight, and probably still favourites to go through, but that's a big if. Malisheva only been in Europe for a few seasons as they progressed up the Kosovan leagues and into the top flight, and they've never won outside of Kosovo. They got beat 8-0 by Vikingur Reykjavik of Iceland a year ago at this stage, after only losing 1-0 at home. So that's a bit of the scale of what Hibs are trying to achieve tonight as we get kicked off here at Easter Road. Hibs attacking the famous 5 stands, and immediately they've won a throw-in next to the long ball as Jordan Obita throws it in, looking to increase the tempo. Martin Boyle back to Obita on the left-hand side. Good 1-2. Obita gets it back. Boyle into the box. Martin Boyle on the right foot, shoots immediately, and it just trickles by the post. Skims the side netting, but excellent start in the opening 25 seconds.
Exactly what we said at the top of the show, what we want to see from Hibs on the front foot. Martin Boyle, key to all that there. Takes the ball for the throw-in. Lovely 1-2 there by Obita, and he just drags his shot wide, but it's a sign of intent that we wanted to see from Hibs.
Absolutely, and Malisheva haven't brought any fans over. The stand away to our right is completely empty. Another 3 filled with high bees trying to make their voices heard here as Chaiwa goes in, tries to win it, but it's come for the Kosovans initially, and then Josh Mulligan has given away a free kick on Vichy, the striker. 2 changes for Hibs tonight. No Jack Iredale, who was hooked at half-time in the first leg. He's missing altogether. Grant Hanley drops to the bench. Debut for Jason Kerr, a Hibs fan. And at the back, and Adam Mayer, who came on at half-time, gets his first start. But here comes Veliu, the left wing-back for Malisheva, who caused a lot of problems in this first leg, and immediately the Kosovans trying to riposte here. And here's Kreshnik Uka, and his strike at the edge of the box was never going to count anyway because the offside flag was up. But Uka is the danger man, scored the opener last week, got 2 in the round before that against Vlasnia Škoda of Albania. He's a top scorer in Kosovan football last season, joined Malisheva in the summer, up to Nathan Lowe, who can't keep his footing. Missed 2 golden chances to get his first competitive Hibs goals last week. Here's Ahora down the line, and it's a good ball here. And a sliding challenge goes in on Elding. Hibs have a corner. 0-0 after 2 minutes, but decent stuff from Hibs.
Yeah, it's a good start. Nice, positive start, and you can see every time the ball goes out to play, David Gray's harping on his players. Jordan Obita reacting, getting the ball back as quick as they can. They've shown the fans that they're going to be turning up tonight, and a corner early on, an early Martin Boyle chance. The signs look positive so far.
Corner will come from the far sides. Hibs packing the box. and goes low to the front post, where Eldon tries to lay it back to Boyle, but it didn't find him, and then Obita strikes it from distance, blocked, and goes all the way over to Salinger around halfway. The goalkeeper goes direct, switch a play out to the right, and it's Mayer. And the overlap as Hibs try and build some pressure. They've got Mulligan, Eldon low in the box. Can they get it in? Looking to try and do that. Here's Chaiwa. Chaiwa slides in a brilliant ball. It's Owen Eldon deflected, and it goes by the post. There'll be another Hibs corner.
Really good from Hibs. Comes from the corner kick. Hibs try to work one. They've worked in the training ground. I think it was for Boyle. Falls to Obita. They then get on the seconds. They sustain the attack, and that's what you want to see, that patience around the box. Lovely slide rule ball there from Owen Eldon. Just can't quite get the finish. It's another corner.
Well, they went near post low with a last one. Well, let's just get swung into the 6-yard box this time around. And the referee, who's from Hungary, just having a word with Nathan Lowe and one of the Malisheva defenders. He seems to be.
He's not even looking at the ball, Tom. He's just pushing himself into Lowe, looking directly at him.
It's a bit of a rugby set up there as the corner comes in. It is an in-swinger 6-yard box header. It's just wide. Another corner. The defender got the final touch. So Hibs piling on the pressure. 4 minutes gone, still goalless though. Malisheva with a 2-0 advantage on aggregate. Paslak will come over to this near side to take this corner. Hibs trying to keep Malisheva penned in here. Into the near post again. The captain, Kraeziu, heads it away. Obita heads it back into the box. Kraeziu lets it bounce and then ushers it behind under pressure from Eldon for a goal kick, and Malisheva will try and take their time over this and relieve some pressure.
I really like Owen Eldon, Thomas. I watched him the back end of last season, and even that little run there that led to the first corner, it's really intelligent. He times it well, he knows when to move, he knows how to stay on side, and he's a good finisher as well. Here he is here.
And here is Eldon running across the pitch with the ball, pursued by Gilani, and Malisheva win it, and now they're immediately getting blue shirts forward, trying to counter-attack here. Long ball is blocked and spins over for Vitia, the midfielder, up to Vichy, and now Veliu, the left wing back, goes down looking for a free kick, gets it, and I think that will be Hibs fans' frustration this evening. They were, the ones who travelled were certainly frustrated at some of the antics they saw from Malisheva at times in the first leg.
You could see early on, Thomas, that Malisheva are just basically, as soon as they win the ball back, they're waiting for Paslak to commit himself further up the pitch, and Veliu's their out ball. He wants to dart down that left hand side, and they want to counter attack quickly. As soon as they get the ball back, they're looking for him.
Yeah, he was brilliant in the first leg, scored against Vlasny as well last round. Then comes a free kick, it's boomed straight down the throat of Salinger. Poor delivery. Hibs will breathe a sigh of relief there as Obita collects from the goalkeeper and runs up to halfway, and he curls one into the channel for Nathan Lowe, but skips off and into the arms of Abdili, the goalkeeper.
It's the right idea, just execution there. Overhit the pass from that left hand side. Obita trying to release Nathan Lowe.
Obita in his own half. Malisheva only formed in 2016. Come through the leagues in Kosovo and finishing 4th, 3rd and 2nd in the last few seasons to get European football. Won their first European tie to get to this stage as Mayer takes it a run, but he runs into Gilani, and then the captain Rezu dooms it out on this near side for the Hibs throw in.
Chaiwa needs to move the ball quicker. Twice he's been robbed of possession in the middle of the park. I'm thankful to his teammates.
Well, he had a difficult first leg, Chaiwa's did, the whole of the Hibs team, but Chaiwa, he was slipping about. The pitch was hybrid, and Hibs hadn't trained on it, trained in Edinburgh, so looked unaccustomed to it as Lowe tries the overhead kick as the cross comes in. Doesn't fall for him, and it's cleared. O'Hora steps in, wins the ball. Mulligan, now Paslak. O'Hora's continued his run. O'Hora sends the ball in. Touch. Chance for Mulligan off the bar. Oh, so close from Josh Mulligan as Hibs look to eat into this 2-goal deficit, and it stays out 0-0.
What an opportunity for Mulligan there. It's brilliant from Mahora. Steps in, wins the ball, continues his run, plays a ball into the box, and it falls to Mulligan.
I think he catches it too well, Scott. I really do. I think it's
He's
one of those
back
ones.
though, isn't he?
He's leaning back, but it's a great effort. He catches it sweet as a nut. I think, if he drives that into the ground, it could be a horrible finish. But they've started really well. Hibs are on the attack again.
Here's Mulligan driving forward, gives it to Boyle, left-hand side of the box. Martin Boyle taking on his man in on the right foot. Runs out of room here, but still has the ball. Tries to do a little slide pass. It's Owen Eldon, and there is the opening goal. Hibs' fast start is rewarded, and after 8 minutes, they've halved their deficit against FC Malisheva. It is Hibernian 1, Malisheva 0, 2-1 on aggregate to the Kosovans.
Fantastic from Hibs, isn't it? Martin Boyle. Rory had just spoke about it. Hibs back on the attack. They kept the ball alive. It works its way out to Martin Boyle from the left-hand side of the box. Lovely reverse pass to Owen Eldon. We spoke about the runs he was making off the shoulder, and he drives into the back of the net in his left foot. It's a great start for Hibs. It's been coming, and the momentum shifts, doesn't it now, Rory?
It does indeed. I mean, the defending leaves a lot to be desired, I have to say, but Eldon gets in far too easily, but he makes no mistake with the finish. It might take a wee nick, but he just puts his laces through it. But it's that run again. It's fantastic. Really, really good. The master of the slide rule pass sitting next to me has appreciated a few of them tonight so far.
Boyle did see them on a day-to-day basis, didn't he? Must have learned something.
Indeed, it was a great pass from Martin Boyle, and what a different feeling around Easter Road right now. 400 or 500 fans who travelled out last week, some of them were completely irate and waited for the team getting off the bus as Malisheva, getting on the bus I should say, as Malisheva trying to attack down the right hand side. Hibs have come away with it. Chaiwa goes down looking for a free kick. He's not going to get it, and it comes into Bishi, and Malisheva coming forward. Good tackle from Chaiwa. First and second out for a throw in this near side, and Martin Boyle is right in the face of one of the Malisheva players because he feels he's made the most of that by staying on the ground.
That's what Chaiwa's good at, and it's energy and getting around people and putting challenges in. For me, I just think he needs to be tidier on the ball at times. Again, dispossessed in an area of the park where you can be punished. He did get the ball back.
The Kosovans will try and slow the game down. I think that's what Martin Boyle's trying to say. I just don't think he needs to do it at this stage of the game. Hibs are on the front foot. They've started really well. They've got the goal. Don't get involved in that. They will try and suck the life out of the game, the Kosovans, but Hibs are doing well enough without getting involved in anything like that.
Kaislin Shani, the centre back, thought about the long throw and retreated, and then he's going to throw it towards the box, but he throws it straight to Miguel Chaiwa, clears it. Maybe could have taken a touch there.
It's the most underwhelming long throw I think I've ever seen, Thomas.
Yeah, well, especially because he was almost like retreated, thought, no, I'm not going to do it, and then just flung it straight to Hibs player. He's going to get another goal here.
The long throw gets you an extra couple of seconds, doesn't it? That's what we were told.
As come down the right, Obita makes a challenge, and he gets the help of the corner flag there as it stays in, clears towards low. Viezu heads it up in the air, and then it's won by Vitia. Hibs get the decision though on this near side, and as I was mentioning, I was over in Kosovo last week covering the game, and they're sitting in the press conference with Martin Boyle afterwards, and you could literally hear the Hibs fans at the gate, some of them irate.
I take it you can't repeat any of the things they'll say.
Well, yeah, some of it was a bit choice, shall we say. Some was more reasonable, just making the point of how much money they'd paid to come across and support the team. But yeah, Martin Boyle was fully aware of that, to be fair. He said he would be annoyed if he was in the position that the Hibs fans were in last week, but dealt with the questions well as ever. Hibs have responded well thus far. After 11.5 minutes, they lead by a goal to nil, still trailing Malisheva 2-1 on aggregate, and it is the Kosovans coming forward. Obita is able to run in behind and pick it up and go back to Salinger.
Scott getting a bit frustrated there. I think he felt the ball should have went into Mulligan.
Twice in a row, and twice it's led to obviously Malisheva regaining possession. So it's all well and good going long, but Josh Mulligan's sitting in a position in the middle of the park. If the ball's into him, he can turn, and Hibs are on the attack, and that's what they've been doing since the start of the game. They've been good. Anytime the ball's in back, Salinger just launched it, and it's came right back at them.
Here's Obita playing in that left centre back position. Feeds Chaiwa on the halfway line. Out to Adam Mayer, the signing from Millwall, on his first start for Hibs. Rolls it down the line for Martin Boyle. Good run from Boyle, and then a good turn, but defender Shani still in front of him. Boyle stands him up, takes it to the byline, delivers a cross. It's over hit, and it will be Owen Eldon to scamper after it. Ohora's come across as Kreshnik Uka tries to launch a counter. He's done well to hold on to it. Finds Gilani, the number 10 for Malisheva, and the switch of play is on out to this near side to Isgandarli, and he controls it nicely just over halfway. Malisheva, certainly a team that look well coached, and they can see when they win the ball back there, immediately their wing backs are on their bike trying to get up and support.
What is Salinger doing? He's given 10 yards of space there to take a touch. He just 3 times in a row, just needless possession. Away there you go, into Mulligan, and you can build an attack.
Mulligan, oh, that's a poor pass.
Maybe not.
Yeah, poor pass in front, too far in front of Paslak, and then Paslak's given away the free kicks. It's sloppy from Hibs, and that opening 8 minutes was perfect, exactly what David Gray would have wanted, but kind of taking their foot off the gas in the last 5 minutes here. Let Malisheva settle a bit when they were rattled in the opening 8 as Elding opened the scoring. But here is Ferrati, and it goes back to a defender Skogar, who's former Denmark under-21 international, has played for Nordsjælland among others. He's played at this level before, probably the most experienced and best player Malisheva have got. But Hibs have come out with a throw-in 10 yards over halfway on the far side, and Ohora throws it to Mulligan. Back to Jason Kerr. A special moment for him as a Hibs fan, making his debut at Easter Roads this evening. Obita into Mayer, onto the chest of Boyle, who gets it away first time nicely to Chaiwa. Chaiwa along to Mulligan. Mulligan's going to drive forward, but he had Ferrati in front of him. Out to Paslak, right corner of the box. Ohora overlapping, but rather slowly. Now it is Ohora inside to Paslak. Paslak drives it at goal. Nathan Lowe slides in, block, back to Paslak, and just like that, Hibs have levelled this tie. Not even 15 on the clock. It's 2-0. Paslak stroking home. Hibs 2, Malisheva 0, 2-all on aggregate.
Well, Tom English asked the question, are Hibs better than this Malisheva side? Well, they're certainly answering all the questions just now and proving that they are better. Tom was quite right to ask the question after last week, but they've came out the traps absolutely flying here. Fantastic play by Paslak down that right-hand side. Again, questionable defending, far too much space. The 1-2s are so clear what's going to happen. Malisheva just don't seem to react to them, and Paslak sticks it away for 2-0.
From a Malisheva point of view, it's when it then gets into your box, it then becomes get a man, and they're worried about the space, and Hibs just go a nice cute 1-2. And it's, I think Nathan Lowe tries to get on the end. Well, what Paslak does really well, he's really aggressive. He's counter press and he's on it first and gets a goal. It put Hibs 2-0 up in this tie, and now it only looks as if it's going to go one way. A really good start to the game for Hibs. They just need to keep that pressure on.
Yeah, it's so far reminiscent of the Interclub de Scaldes tie a couple of years ago when Hibs lost 2-1 out in Andorra. On the reverse 6-1 here at Easter Road, but here's Uka, flag on, and does stay down, and then it slipped forward for the left wing back Veliu, who has not managed to win the corner kick. That Hibs just switching off there.
Yeah, it was Obita. He was 2 yards deeper than the rest of the back three, and he played him onside. He was onside for half a second there. I thought Salinger was going to come out and try and win the ball. He didn't, which was a good decision in the end.
We spoke about that, didn't we? Even if Hibs were to go 2-3-0 up, the tie still finely balanced. It just takes one moment, a lack of concentration, and Malisheva can punish you. They showed that last week, and again there they showed that they do have threats when attacking.
Here's Mayer, cross from deep, edge of the 6-yard box, away to the edge. Gilani controls it and gives it out to Shani, clips it up in the air, comes off the head of Obita, and Ibishi, the striker, holds it up well. Good composure in midfield from Vitia, the 26-year-old Kosovan, and knocks it back to his captain Dreni Prieziu, as Veliu takes a poor touch, and Eldon just got a toe on it, but too heavy, and it's out for a throw-in to Malisheva on the far side. And well, some of these Hibs fans, I think a lot of these Hibs fans coming here would have expected their team to turn it around, but the fact they've gone and done it so quickly so far, wiping out the advantage, still work to do, means that it will be breathing a lot easier on a sun-kissed evening at Easter Road.
Yeah, well, I think Rory touched on it about how it makes the game last week look. It makes it look a lot easier for Dave Gray. It's been an off night. The way things are going, it looks like Hibs will come through this tie, and then obviously going to Motherwell on Sunday, but it would be a massive win to come from 2-0 down, but with a performance here as well. I think that was the main thing. Yes, you expect Hibs to win, but there has to be a performance to go alongside it.
And the referee giving Martin Boyle, thinking, oh, it's not Boyle balls there, it's Paslak, giving him a little talking to, and Mulligan was in there as well.
I think David Gray said to his players, get in and about the referee early if they start their nonsense, which to be fair they haven't really, but I think it's been in the forefront of the players' minds to remind the ref about the time wasting, etc. But they're 2-0 up, don't get involved in it.
And here come Malisheva down the right hand side. Low cross is poor along the grass, straight to Salinger, who flings it out to Paslak on the far side. It's been a really good signing. Felix Paslak is joining in the winter. Played at such a high level with Borussia Dortmund. Red card against Hearts aside, as Obita goes to Mulligan in the centre circle. Barrels round, gives it into Elding. First time out to Ahora. There's a pass out wide for Paslak, who's in a really advanced position. Slow cross. Oh, and Elding on the left foot crosses lines. Boyle off the bar. Should be 3-0. And Hibs have hit the bar twice, having already scored twice as well. Mulligan's coming again down the right hand side. Paslak. Mulligan. Inside ball looking for Ahora. Intercepted. Now it's Jelani. Martin Boyle finding the crossbar, and now Malisheva countering here. Batia. Hibs get numbers back, including Mayer and Chaiwa, and Malisheva trying to build up from the back, take the sting out of the game. Scott.
Yeah, they are. Listen, what an opportunity again from Hibs. Paslak down that right hand side. Owen Eldon obviously playing behind Nathan Lowe. Him and Martin Boyle are just playing in their pockets. They can find them, they're in space. The Malisheva players don't know whether to go or drop. What they're doing just now is they're dropping. It's allowing Eldon to turn. Plays a lovely ball out to Paslak, who returns the favour. He miskicks it, and Martin Boyle just trying to use the Malisheva defender just to cover into that far corner that comes off the post, the bar, sorry. But real sign intent again from Hibs, and they look like they're going to create every time they go forward.
Yeah, and when I say it should be 3-0, Martin Boyle's effort was a good one. It's more Eldon, and he stepped onto it. Probably should have buried it, but he missed it, and went to Boyle, who stroked it off the bar.
I think he goes with his left foot instead of just trusting his right foot in that instance. Again, he's in that pocket.
Ibishi's on the floor. Sorry, Scott. I mean, he's been on the floor for half the game. He's trying to slow the game down, but nobody's paying attention to him. Now he's back up.
And that's why you can hear the boos around Easter Road. 20 minutes gone. Hibs 2, Malisheva 0. 2-2 on aggregate at Easter Road, live on Sports Sound, BBC Radio, Scotland Extra, BBC Sounds. Here's Obita. Obita looking for Eldon, but kind of let the ball run across him. It went straight to the Malisheva player, Ferrati. Now the counter is on. Uka takes it over the halfway line, running down the left. Doesn't have much support. Good defensive work from Paslak, who's had an outstanding opening 20 minutes, including grabbing the second goal as Mulligan plays it in front of Chaiwa. Boyle's in front. Mayer's pulled out to this left-hand side, which is where the ball goes. And now Chaiwa, foot on the ball, stops. As Mulligan collects the pass in the centre circle. Ahora pauses, finds Chaiwa, and now Mayer. Obita, left centre back, playing left wing for the moment. Back to Mayer, and then scoop ball over, but Shani manages to head it out as Obita look to latch onto that. 2-0 Hibs, and throw in just about in line with the edge of the Malisheva box into Mayer, who gets it back. The Mayer drives down the outside. Sliding challenge is a good one from Batia out for a Hibs throw. Hibs quickly wiping out Malisheva's lead from a week ago, but need to get themselves in front in the tie. Obita collects the return from the throw-in. Boyle crowded out. Jelani goes down. Didn't look much in that, but the referee is given the free kick. And he's now rolling around, and Martin Boyle telling him what he thinks, and he's going to get the yellow card for it as well. And I think this is going to be a theme of the game.
Yeah, to be honest, I did think it was a free kick, Thomas. I think he mistimes it, and listen, I don't know how much he catches him or how sore it is. I doubt very much Jelani's in that much pain, to be honest with you. I don't think it was a booking, but I think it was a foul. It has to be said, but I don't think Martin Boyle being at the referee every 2 seconds moaning and complaining has helped his cause.
Yeah, indeed. But now we're going to have a period of treatment for Jelani, and yeah, the Hibs fans not enjoying that. But Thomas Bradaric is the Malisheva manager. Looked a really slick outfit a week ago, but different ball game in here at Easter Roads. Bradaric, a former German international, 8 caps, played in the Champions League final for Bayer Leverkusen at Hamden 2002. And that Zidane volley.
Best ever.
Yeah, terrific career, Bradaric, and he's kind of had a nomadic managerial existence, been in Singapore, India, as well as winning a cup with Vlasnia in Albania, and he did well at Trenica in Kosovo last season, got the Malisheva job, so played at the highest level.
That's who they defeated in the last round, Vlasnia, wasn't it?
It was, yeah, and it was a bit of a shock. I think the Albanians were certainly favourites, won the first leg 2-1 at home, and then went across to Kosovo, short journey, and got battered 5-0. And that was the first tie that Malisheva had ever won in European football. As it goes long, flicked on, cleared by Jason Kerr. Good header from Nathan Lowe. And Martin Boyle pick up the seconds. Boyle, up against Shani, comes in on the right foot, he's going to go for goal. Always was kind of shaping wide of that left-hand post, but decent effort. 2-0 it stays.
Yeah, it's Martin Boyle doing what he does best, cutting in from the left there. Look, they find that far corner, and it finishes about 3-4 yards by the left-hand post. But again, it's positive. They're creating chances, they're getting shots away. And you just feel it's a matter of time before that third goal comes.
Jelani was fine, by the way. I should have said. As Paslak wins it for Hibs. Well, intercepted it anyway and gave it away to Ferrati. Kerr with aerial challenge, falls for Chaiwa in his own half, facing his own goal under pressure from Veliu. Gets the pass away, and then it's slid up the line for Mulligan. Mulligan takes a good touch and finds the inside ball for Chaiwa. First time up to Lowe. Perhaps looked offside there. Flag stays down though. Got himself back on clearly. Good play from Hibs. Obita stepping into the game. Now out to Mayer on the touchline. Mayer finds Obita under laughing run. Obita back to Mayer. Hoists the ball in, 6-yard box, Lowe goes up, won by the defender. Boyle chests it down, splaps a shot, falls to Lowe, block. Lowe trying to get at it again, and it's cleared desperately by Malisheva out for a throw-in on this near side.
Yeah, Malisheva are really struggling with, pretty basic 1-2s and things, communication, going with the runner, staying with the man. They end up 2v1 all the time because they're not dealing with it very well. Hibs are moving the ball quickly, but their defending is really quite poor, Thomas.
We can't give Martin Boyle the credit there for the reverse pass. And then Nathan Lowe, that was a volley. He drags it, finds its way to Nathan Lowe, and he just can't quite get the ball out of his feet.
Yeah, I have to say, look, I have to be kind of honest. I think Hibs really tested Malisheva defensively at all in the first leg. I mean, they did put some balls into the box, but in terms of the moving the ball at speed, as you say, Rory, and putting the little combinations in, there was none of that a week ago. Yeah,
I don't doubt if you were to swing a few balls into the box, they would compete and they would head the ball away. But it's just that speed of thought, speed of movement, which, in small-sided games and things, you'd think would be drilled into them, but a basic 1-2s, they're really struggling to deal with.
Obita closed down, out for a throw-in in his own half here. Hibs comfortable in this game, 2-0 up. Still 2-all on aggregate, 26 minutes played at Easter Road. Live on Sportsound on BBC Radio Scotland Extra. Motherwell were 3-0 winners in the Faroe Islands against HB Tórshavn earlier. We had live commentary on that one. Excellent result for Alfred Johansson's side so early in his tenure with so many injuries and new faces. They'll play HJK Helsinki in the next rounds, most likely, as Chaiwa battles, and Motherwell, of course, as Mayer gives away the free kick just inside Malisheva half. But Motherwell, the visitors Sunday at Easter Road, as Hibs start their league campaign. Big game, 4:30 on Sunday. Live coverage of that one right here on BBC Radio Scotland. We've got coverage of all of the games in the Premiership, live commentary from every game. Starting tomorrow night at Tannadice, Dundee United against Rangers. Mouth-watering opening to the season. Sliding challenge from Mayer. Jelani is back onto it, and it comes out to Isganderley, and Malisheva will accept the throw-in. And they're taking their time to set this one up. Keslan Shani, the Albanian, is coming up from right centre back to take it. Goes short to Bishi and Jelani, holding off the challenge. Martin Boyle in there. Jelani still going, does well to get the cross in, and the header from Uka drifts just wide of the right hand post, but Jelani did really well to even deliver that into the area.
Fair defending from Hibs there on that left hand side to the corner flag. 3 Hibs players there around the ball, have to get pressure on it, have to stop the cross coming in. It's a decent ball in the end, it just flashes by Salinger's post.
Up towards Nathan Lowe, who's kind of rugby tackle to the ground by Kieziu. Mulligan has it, lofts one over the top for Paslak to chase, but even he's not that quick. Behind for a goal kick, Hibs 2-0 up.
It comes again from obviously Salinger, as Scott's pointed out, going long. I just wonder whether having Nathan Lowe up there can be it's in the players' minds at times that he is the outball, and they're a little bit too quick to use him at times, and they're basically, they want him to take the ball in, they want Boyle to run off him, they want Elding to run off him, which is good in principle, but you can't do it every time.
Here's Ferrati. As Malisheva cross into Hibs half. Chaiwa is industrious, as well as Mulligan, who gets up and down and up and has won the ball and loses it under pressure from Vitia. Hibs have won it back. Eldin now tries to turn, sliding challenge from Kieziu. Referee doesn't give the free kick, and Malisheva counter. And I don't think the referee is a Hibs fan favourite at the moment, as Skanderley loses out and Hibs get the throw in on this near side.
It's telling him to calm down now, which is a bit outrageous given that, yeah, he might get some of the ball, but in this day and age, that is a free kick every day of the week. He came steaming in, he had both feet off the ground, and it was dangerous in my opinion. Certainly worth a yellow card at least.
Yeah, because Owen Eldon had turned him really. He did manage to get something on the ball, but as Rory describes,
he's been lenient, hasn't he, the referee? Nathan Lowe hasn't had anything for some of the aerial duels, but that one, that's standing right next to it, it's clear as day.
Hibs throwing on this near side as they look to get in front in the tie for the first time. Boyle exchanges the throw with Obita, holding off Jelani. Obita, nice little pass for Mayer, and then his ball was awkward height for Boyle as he kind of ran onto it, and Hibs give up possession. Good recovery challenge from Chaiwa. That might have been a free kick with another referee as well, but he lets it go on. Oh, that's given away by Mayer. It's a really poor square pass, and it invites Uka to charge forward, and he's had to be hauled down by Josh Mulligan, who will get a yellow card for that. That's all come from a slack pass.
Yeah, he doesn't look, he plays a square pass. At times you can play that type of pass, but you need to look and realise that it's going to make it. It has to make it in that situation, and Mulligan takes the fall for it by getting a booking.
I actually think he had to play it. There wasn't real pressure on him at that moment. He just had to stay in the ball, wait for the pressure to come and then play, then try and get off the back of him. And it just shows you one slack pass. And there has been, as much as Hibs have showed in the attacking third, some creativity, 1-2s and getting shots away, there's been moments of slackness on the side as well.
Yeah, absolutely. There's a chance for Malisheva here from the free kick. It's about, what, 25, maybe a bit more yards out. And
you do feel since going 2-0 down, they've changed their approach slightly. I think they've thought to themselves, we don't want to just come up, turn up here 2-0 down after 15 minutes and just, go home with a 5 or a 6. I think they've changed their mindset and their approach now, and they're a little bit more expansive.
What they've actually done well, see, when they've turned over the ball, they've actually found the space, whether it's down the flanks or one of your central midfielders running into space. They've actually found that well. It's just the next bit for Malisheva they haven't quite put together yet.
Yeah, chance here, free kick, central position. Look at Zuka, no, it's Jelani that's over it, I think, and he goes from distance. It's a shocker. Nowhere near the target, and Mulligan, bar the yellow cards, will breathe a sigh of relief, although he felt he had to commit the challenge. Such was the threat from Uka charging towards the edge of the box, and now there's another Malisheva player down. I think it's Skanderley, and we'll have another little break in play here for some treatment. It's David Gray. I see him telling Miguel Chaiwa to calm down there. And,
on the ball.
Yeah, I think that's perhaps the message. Gives him a slap on the back, because he has been everywhere, but he's almost trying too hard at times. As And I think he's obviously desperate to recover Chaiwa from it last week, because...
Do you know when his best performances were for Hibs last year when they were down to 10 men? Because of the distance he can cover, and he's combative.
Well, he never hid last week, but he was slipping and sliding all over the place. I mean,
he just never looked comfortable getting on the ball.
It was comical. I don't know. As I say, it was a kind of hybrid pitch. It was kind of dry, but then for the warm up, and then they watered it a bit, and Malisheva, I think manager said, well, Hibs, if they trained on the pitch, then they'd been fine, which they didn't. But there was a lot of players slipping about from both sides, in fairness, which Chaiwa in particular was finding it incredibly hard to stay on his feet. But much more sure footing tonight at Easter Road.
Yeah, pitch is fantastic, isn't it? It really is.
Yeah, there's I think there's going to be a change here. Valmir Nafiu, I think, is going to have to come on for Malisheva. He scored the second in the 90th minute as a sub last week. As this injury looks game-ending, so this will probably suit Malisheva, not in terms of the injury that they're forced into, but got an able replacement, but just taking the sting out of the game.
Yeah, I think the Malisheva manager, Thomas Bradic, will be bitterly disappointed at the concession of the 2 goals. I watched him a couple of times during the first 10-15 minutes, and he's constantly motioning with his hands, putting them up in the air and pushing them together as if to say, be compact. I don't know if you've seen it. There's a clip of Jose Mourinho doing, explaining a similar thing where he talks about being compact, and Rafa Benitez, and that's pretty much the signal he was given. Don't give gives the space to Hibs. But the problem they had was, Hibs bop a 1-2 around them, and they're massively struggling, and that's what a couple of the goals have came from. So hopefully it continues in the same fashion.
Well, Vusa Skanderli is removed on a stretcher holding his face, so it's really a shame for him, as Valmir Nafiu comes on to replace him. At football, he was getting booed there as he was stretchered off. I don't think he was faking that one, in fairness. But Martin Boyle going after this long free kick, and he gets there. Mayer in support. Boyle delivers a cross. It bounces to the back post. Eldon's header low, couldn't miss. And Hibs hit the front in this Conference League tie for the first time, and Nathan Lowe takes a bow because he has his first Hibernian goal. It is Hibernian 3, Malisheva 0, 3-2 on aggregate.
Well, what I would say about Salinger this time, instead of just booming it high up to Nathan Lowe, he hits the space to give Martin Boyle what he's good at, running behind. He does ever so well, comes in his right foot, shapes a fantastic ball into the back post. Owen Eldon just nods it across, and there's Nathan Lowe to tuck home for Hibs. 3-0 up. Great first half for Hibs.
This could be anything they want it to be, I think, tonight. I mean, they're by far and away much more technically, physically, intelligence, every part of the game. Hibs have been far superior and look like they could go on and score 6 or 7 if they wanted to tonight.
The fans certainly want them to. Nathan Lowe, that'll be a big weight off his shoulders, because he missed 2 good chances last week, but he's opened his account for Hibernian. Elding, and that was too slow from Hibs there, and the space was closed down. Now Malisheva come forwards. Nafiu and Ferrati finds Uka as a danger man, into the box, tries to go inside Dovita and left the ball behind. But Nafiu on Mayer, but pushed into the ground. Hibs free kick. Nathan Lowe said in an interview this week he'd like to get 15 to 20 goals this season, the 20-year-old on loan from Stoke City, which is a bold move given the chances he missed last week, but fair play to him. Hibs' new number 9, he was where he needed to be to not score an easier one. He's literally basically right on the line, but he's in the right place to just nod it home.
Yeah, obviously we've only seen a short amount of them so far.
Martin Boyle wins it into the box. Good sliding challenge from Kwaedziu, the captain, to prevent Martin Boyle getting a strike away corner to Hibs though.
He goes long again, and Lowe puts his body in. Boyle picks up the seconds, but yeah, he reminds me a bit of Sam Dalby. Kieran Bowie, I think, was probably a little bit more technical. Lowe wants to get physical, he wants to get in fights, he wants to hold the ball up. Maybe a bit more mobile than Dalby, but I think he's got the potential to score goals in this shape, in this system.
He's played 27 times for Stoke in the Championship. He's had loans, he's kind of scored at every level in England below the Championship, so it's a big step up for him. He's got one tonight. Paslak's corner into the 6-yard box, punched by the keeper. Obita controls and gives it to Mayer. Paslak out on this near side, and that's probably where the ball should have gone as Mayer. It's a poor one, but it's headed by Ohora to the edge of the box, and Chaiwa who gives away the free kick. That was a strange decision from Mayer there. I thought he could have passed out to this near side.
Yeah, all the bodies were obviously central, so you want to come away from that and try and find some gaps, stretch them. He just had to open his body up and play it to the winger. He chooses not to, and lands for a Malisheva free kick just outside the 18-yard box.
Hibs 3-0 up here. If you're just joining us live on Sportsound and BBC Radio Scotland Extra, as the embarrassment of a week ago fades with a really good first half. Goals on 9, 15 and 35 from Halding, Paslak and Lowe. Hibs leading the tie. Still got 7 minutes plus stoppages to the break. Only one goal in front though, so on the aggregate, so still work to do. But as the guys have been saying, Scott Allen, Rory Loy, that if Hibs stay at it, stay focused, then that shouldn't be a problem, given the way this game is going so far. Oh, and a poor touch from Crazy. Martin Boyle was right on him, but the defender recovered to get it away into Donart Vitia in midfield. Switch of play. And Paslak watched it carefully and nods it back to Salinger.
He's been excellent, Paslak, really good.
Yeah, he's played at such a high level with Dortmund, and he's been far more advanced in this game as well than he was a week ago. And Mayer collects on the left hand side. That's another misplaced pass. He's struggling out here. Adam Mayer a bit on his first Hibs start.
He keeps on trying to find the hardest pass, which is really strange for someone in that position who's coming into the side. Easy pass again, just work it down the side. But what I would say is the play before that comes from Salinger rolling it through the middle, a couple of passes, stretching the play into O'Neilden in the pockets. He opens up and shifts it out wide, and it just needs a better pass. But what they're doing, they're moving Malisheva. It's a very strange decision there from Mayer to go for that choice of pass.
You're annoyed if you're Obita as well, and you've sprinted 50 yards to get round him.
Well, Mulligan in front of Eldon slides in. Lowe had made the run forward, but he's picked it up. Low offside flag is up. Just strayed too far in front. Just a bit rushed there from Hibs as they tried to quickly break forwards. He had numbers, but just composure wasn't quite there.
I just wonder if O'Neilden thought one of the tackles was coming again there.
Yeah. Here's Vitia over to Shani, halfway line. Hibs also hit the bar twice. Mulligan and Boyle created loads of chances. And Skovgaard, the Dane, spreads the play across to far side. Comes back this way. Nice switch into Uka. He's going back the way to the halfway line. Hibs back in their shape. Very comfortable. Long ball comes in from Skovgaard. And the offside flag is up against Arlen Veliu. When it was Jelani actually had made the run down the left-hand side. That was a good line held by the Hibs defence. And Salinger will take this free kick. Goes long. Looks like he's overhit that. Lowe is taking it down, tried to take it down inside the defender, runs into him. Hibs want a free kick, not going to get it.
I have to say, I think the referee gets that right. The player can't just disappear, you know. It's a decent enough touch from Lowe, comes inside. I don't think he's ever making up the ground to get the ball. I don't think there was enough in it for a foul.
Yeah, Salinger talking yesterday that his wife is a nutritionist with Sturm Graz, so he was probably enjoyed their week in that sense. Hearts obviously been down 6-0 to Sturm over the two legs in the Champions League, as Mulligan gives it to Boyle, sliding towards the penalty spot, half away, chance for Mulligan on the left foot. Keeper gets slow down to his left hand side to make the save.
Yeah, it's a really poor clearance. It's a cut back to nobody, and then the defender he's stretching, and he plays it straight to the Hibs man, who puts it right down the throat of the goalkeeper, pretty much slightly to the left. But you know, again, the defending, you have to say, is really under par. It was Shani on that occasion passing straight to the opposition in a dangerous area.
Listen, the game should be out of sight at this moment in time, but what you would say is Hibs look as if they're going to score more goals. You get midfielders getting up into the box, getting shots away. I think that's 2 now for Mulligan. The one he crashed off the bar, and then that one falls to his left foot. He just can't quite adjust to get more power on it.
Header from Jason Kerr as that free kick went long, bouncing about in midfield. Chai was trying to get across, but it's Nafiu who gets onto it, and then finds Shilani, won by Chai. Obita now, Mayer back to Obita, who blasts it into midfield for Lowe to collect. Good play from Nathan Lowe, holds it up well and then lays it off to Adam Mayer. Mayer to Boyle on the halfway line. It's near side, and then he's caught late by Nafiu. And now it's Boyle's turn to rub his quad. Took us all on there. And the Hibs free kick. 2 minutes to the break, plus stoppages. Hibs 3-2 in front on aggregate, 3-0 on the night.
Good signs there from Nathan Lowe. Ball's bouncing up to him, he manages to get the chest, and then what he does really well, he gets his body across the defender, leaves the ball, and it allows him then to work it out to Martin Boyle, who then gets on the end of a bad one there. But really good signs from Nathan Lowe.
Yeah, and a few Hibs fans I think were concerned with David Gray confirmed Jamie McGrath, Nicky Cadden, the new signing Callum Wright as a kind of attacking midfielder, all not fit to play tonight, but they have looked creative. You have to take the opposition into account, of course, but some positive signs as Lowe and Elding combine here, left corner of the box. Elding trying to keep Malisheva hemmed in and gets a good challenge in on Shani. Malisheva throw in, and I think the Kosovans will be grateful to get to the break at this moment in time, just the one goal behind in the tie. As they throw it up the line, Mayer collects though for Hibs. Elding, then Obita, then Chaiwa back to Jason Kerr. Kerr finds Ahora, more than Ahora. The Irishman stops in the centre circle. Mayer's pulled out to the left hand side into Elding. Touch wasn't the best, but he's kept the ball, gives it to Obita. Obita to Mayer, back down the line to Obita. Obita to Mayer. Good turn from the new signing, Obita. Mulligan and Hibs just keeping the ball now.
Just in that instance there, Thomas, where Eldon ends up with the ball in that pocket, he doesn't need to sprint towards the ball, he just has to stand still and let the ball find him, and that allows him to take the touch, open up, and then Hibs are on the attack. What he does, he runs to the ball, doesn't check what's behind him, and then has to play a more negative pass.
Throw into Malisheva down in front of us here in the main stands. Throw in straight to Mayer, who clears it towards the box. Lowe's going after it. Oh, and there's keeper comes, doesn't get there initially, and then there's a battle with Lowe to get on the ball, but the goalkeeper Avdalai does manage to get his gloves on it. Malisheva playing out to the left hand side. Alan Veliu into Ferrati, and then a poor pass for Kraedziu, who's going to have to scamper across his box to the edge of his box to get it, but he does fetch it. He played 45.5 minutes. I'm going to play 4 added at the end of this first half as Jason Kerr is clipped. Hibs free kick 10 yards into Malisheva's territory.
Really good first touch from Jason Kerr there. That wasn't easy. It just popped up in front of him and he just killed it in front of himself, walked onto it and won the free kick. Really good composure.
Here is Mayer. He's got Elding to his left, drives infield into a bit of a cul-de-sac, but he's turned and found Mulligan. Mulligan floats the ball into the box, pass that gets up well, gets the header. Boyle, and then just kind of plays one into the air for Lowe to battle with the goalkeeper with again. The goalkeeper comes out on top, and then he's having a little go at Nathan Lowe. Not sure what happened there to anger the Malisheva number 1, but the referee sprinting across to tell him to calm down.
It's an interesting choice of pass there from Martin Boyle. So the pass that gets on the header, it falls to Martin Boyle. He just take a touch and he just plays a sky ball, doesn't he, into the 6-yard box.
Nathan Lowe's going to be a good watch against some of the hard-hitting Scottish centre halves. I can see it being a bit box office in some of the games.
Give us some names, Rory.
Here is Martin Boyle. Lowe moving towards the edge of the box, gets on his right foot, space is closed down, has to turn back, and then it's a good challenge from Ferrati. And Lowe's chance to get a strike away is gone. Malisheva here, a few numbers ahead of the ball if they can make the most of this. Here's Nafiu in the centre circle, out to Uka. Uka halfway up Hibs half, and he's weaving his way across the pitch towards the far side. Gives it to Veliu, who's up from left wing back. On the right foot, takes a strike from distance. Salinger watched it go comfortably over the top of his crossbar. Hibs 3, Malisheva 0. 2 minutes left of first half stoppage time. And Easter Roads is a far calmer place, because had this still been 0-0 and Hibs been rather tepid as they were last week, then this place could have been pretty grim to be a Hibs player. But they've made sure that that certainly isn't the case, as Salinger goes long for Nathan Lowe, drops for Mayer, then Elding, first time back towards Lowe, who's made a challenge illegally according to the referee. Ferrati went down, and this first half rather petering out at the moment. A great time for Hibs to get a fourth and put a bit of daylight in terms of the aggregate scoreline. Still just 3-2 on aggregate. Here come Malisheva, played into the box. Uka's made a good run, controls it on the thigh, out towards the far side of the box. Good turn away from Abita, but the defender recovered to get a block on the cross. Uka lays it to Veliu, who's trying to get rid of Abita but doesn't manage it. Abita wins it and clears. Skovgaard's header into Vitia and Krieziu, and Skovgaard patient from Malisheva, but not really troubling Hibs at the moment. Shani, the centre back, gives it into Vitia, carries forwards, looking for an option, gets one on the left hand side. Obita goes out to meet it, in comes the cross, and the header from Jason Kerr falls to Nafiu on the edge of the box. Hibs have numbers back to defend as he's forced out of the area. Back to Shani, who's going to send it in, and this should be Salinger's. He comes and does get it, the Hibs goalkeeper.
I don't know how Nafiu has avoided the temptation not to volley that there, especially when you've got 20 seconds left of the half.
And there is the half-time whistle. So far so good for Hibernian. They were in dire straits a week ago in Kosovo, but they flew out the blocks here at Easter Roads. 3 first half goals mean they leads in the tie. Elding with the first after 9 minutes, Paslak with the second 6 minutes later, and then Nathan Lowe nodding in virtually on the line on 35 minutes to make sure Easter Roads is a far happier place than it might have been. Half time in this Conference League second round tie. It is Hibernian 3, Malisheva 0, 3-2 to Hibs on aggregate.
Hibernian in the UEFA Conference League qualifiers.
Live on Sports Sound
From BBC Radio Scotland.
Is the BBC worth keeping? I mean, what has the BBC ever done for me? Stuff your live sport, your sports scene and your Louis Theroux.
You know, none of this has to exist if we don't want it to.
Well, I'm not saying that. Apparently, the money we pay for the BBC generates over £6.5 billion for the economy. But I still can't see, what has the BBC ever done for me?
Strictly,
I'll bog off to Beck.
there's a BBC for each of us, funded by all of us.
Oh, you can't talk to Anton de Beek like that, Tom, and get away with it, can you?
Well, apparently you can.
You're listening, folks, to Sports Sound with our Europa Conference League qualifying special. Earlier on, we had Motherwell in the Faroe Islands, where they beat HB 3-0 for a 5-0 aggregate. They go through to the third qualifying round, where it looks as though they'll be playing HJK or Helsinki. They're 2-0 up away to Coleraine in the second leg of their game, so that's 7-0 on aggregate. I think that's a done deal, Tom.
Would you say so?
I think so.
You're putting your neck on the line.
I think so. Now, Hibs were trailing 2-0. As Thomas so eloquently described, though, it's now 3-2 on aggregate to Hibs against Malisheva of Kosovo. Hibs scoring 3 goals in the first half. Scott and Rory have clearly been enjoying themselves. Tom, what have you made of it?
I think Hibs have been very good. 3 goals, 2 off the woodwork. They're making a poor side look poor, something they singularly failed to do last week. I think there's been a real urgency about them from the get-go. And they score early, score after 9 minutes, score a second after 15 minutes. Brilliant start. But yeah, I think that there's a real voracious appetite about them, a real self-belief, and bits of quality as well, I have to say. Some of the stuff has been very, very good. But it's 3-2, and I mean, you're looking at this, it could have been 5-2 on aggregate, could be 5-0 on the night. They're clearly, and I was questioning whether Hibs were that much better than Malisheva earlier. I was just questioning. I didn't know because I don't.
You had your coefficients out earlier.
I had my coefficients out, and I was wondering. Well, yes, Hibs should be better than this team because look, losing to this team 2-0 last week made no sense, and tonight we're seeing why last week made no sense because Hibs are running riot here. They're all over them. This team is hanging on for dear life at 3-0 at half time.
Yeah, Scott, what was all the apprehension and panic about?
The performance last week. I think we all said it at the start of the show that if Hibs turn up, they win the game, and that first goal was always going to be crucial. Exactly what we said. They had to be on the front foot. They have to look. They want to create chances. They did that. They got the goals. Tom's right. They could be 4 or 5 here quite comfortably. And I don't expect to see anything different in the second half. Malisheva really struggled, especially when Hibs have had runners and giving goals round the edge of the box. And ultimately, Hibs have better players than Malisheva, so if they turn up and they look after the ball, they should win the game. And that's what they've done in this first half. Yes, still 45 minutes to go, but I don't expect to see any sort of change from Malisheva. I expect Hibs to go on, score another maybe 2-3 here.
And the early goal, making sure the fans are quite calm, Rory.
Yes, I think Tom's quite right to point out the attitude and the application and the clear and obvious want to get the ball back into play quickly. All of this before the goal came, I think that set the tone. I think that allowed the fans to realise that last week wasn't acceptable and they weren't about to make the same mistake twice. So I think that was just as important as the early goal. I think the fans realised the players were out to put on a show, and they certainly did that. The first goal was a good finish by Elding, who I think's been very good. Paslak's been excellent as well. Low, very, very good. They probably use him more than they need to at times, given his physicality. I think they can work the ball up to him slightly better at times, but he's looked a real handful. I think he'll make for some right good talking points. I think he'll get in good battles with centre backs, and he'll trouble them, and he'll make it difficult for them. And he looks like a really good option for Hibs, you have to say, and he doesn't struggle for confidence, having listened to him. So look, I think the first half's been really, really good. From all the things Tom's mentioned from the start, right through to the goals, right through to the chances created, the new signings. I think all round it's been a fantastic 45 minutes.
Yeah, Scott, Flo's looking for 20 goals this season. That's him 1 down, 19 to go.
Yeah, a long way to go, DC. But there was good signs there, use of the body. I was saying earlier in the game that Salinger going direct far too early. The one time he goes direct to a bit of space where you get Martin Boyle, because what Nathan Lowe will do with his physicality is he'll attract defenders. They won't want to win the flick-ons, and then that can maybe get you space down the flanks, which you then see that then leads to Martin Boyle putting a cross in and Nathan Lowe getting on the end of an own Eldon assist. But the attacking threat's been there. Martin Boyle, as we know, he's always a threat. He always looks like he's going to create something and get shots away. He's done that. Owen Eldon, for me, for as much as he's been good in the first half, I still think there's a lot more to come from him. And Nathan Lowe, obviously bedding into a new club, always good to get a first goal. Paslak has played at a high level. What he's done, he's been really aggressive with the ball. Hasn't had to defend too much, but with the ball he's been really aggressive, and seen that at the tail end of the season last year. He's been a standout at times. But what you have to give credit for, there was a bit of pressure on them coming into the game, coaching staff and the players, because of last week's performance. But what they've done, they've answered that, and they'll be looking to get a clean sheet, add some more goals, and go into the league campaign off the back of a very resounding Conference League victory.
Yeah, Kerr and Mayer at the back, making their home debuts. Rory, what have you made of them?
Yeah, I think Jason Kerr's been very good. He's been solid. He's not made any mistakes. He's covered a few times well, shown good composure on the ball, as I mentioned towards the end of the first half. Mayer's, he's probably still bedding his way in. He's a young lad. He's just signed permanently, so he'll be glad to join a club on a permanent basis and settle himself in. I think he's been a little bit rushed on the ball at times. He's looked a little bit nervy at times, which as a young man comes sometimes, joining a new club, new teammates, moving up north. So I think he's done fine. I don't think he's done great, but I think he's done fine, and he can be pleased enough with his performance so far. One thing I'll be interested to see is whether Obita, they persevere with Obita at times during the season, because I've quite liked him at left centre back. Don't get me wrong, a couple of times the other two are stepping up and Obita's not quite in sync with them, but if he can get on board with that and learn that, he can build up momentum and get right round the wing back there at left wing back, and I think that creates a good outlet for them, and he can deliver balls into the box as well. So it'd be interesting to see if he adds that string to his bow, Jordan Obita, moving forward, and if he's used there in more competitive fixtures.
Well, should Hibs come through this tie, Tom, it looks as though, well, in fact, definitely if they come through, it will be North Macedonian opposition to play in the next qualifying round. Shkendija have knocked out Bravo from Slovenia. Shkendija winning 3-1 tonight for a 4-3 aggregate win. The goal that clinched it coming in the 88th minute from, I'm going to attempt this, Gorgievsky. 2 minutes from full time.
Has Tom got their position in it?
He's just about to. I was just wondering.
You're doing it to me here. Right, okay, hang on.
I was going to ask you if any of the Hibs fans have got their mobiles out trying to book flights to North Macedonia. But that I'm not sure if that's a step up in quality. One would imagine it will be.
I think you'd have to assume that it will be, yeah. And the further they go on, the more challenging the tasks will be. That's what it's supposed to be. It's not supposed to be easy. So yeah, and if it is, fine.
When you look at what they did last year, Tom, against Midtjylland, who
proper sides.
Yeah, really good sides. Partizan as well.
Yeah.
I know Villa were a step too far for them a couple of years ago, far too good, but they've shown they're capable at this time of the season of producing the goods. I don't think they should fear that type of opposition.
Very close to overcoming Lega as well last year. They really were. Some good performances. But it'll do them the world of good going into the weekend as well. There's no getting away from that. It will,
and I look, lads, I look at Hibs, and inconsistency is their bugbear, right? We all know that. But when you look at Boyle, Elding, Lowe, you also look at Mulligan behind them, McGrath not starting tonight, but that's a coterie of players. That could be devastatingly effective. If they could just hit on some consistency at the back, they could be really good, like.
It could be, and I think that's what Hibs fans will be expecting this year. They'll be expecting a lot better in the cup runs, and that's been the problem, hasn't it, with David Gray's tenure? There's been just a wee slip up in performances. I remember Kelty in his first season and Dunfermline last year, where you're fully expecting Hibs to come through the tie, and then you see obviously last week. But it's about learning. There is new players getting bedded into the side, as we spoke about. But Hibs, if they come through this and then have a good one at the weekend, they'll look at this European campaign as somewhere where they can really go and get group stages, because they do have good players.
I think, Tom, as well, that Malky Mackay and David Gray, they've been working alongside each other for a few years now. I think it's a big season for Hibs. You talk about consistency, and you're absolutely bang on. I think they need to see that this season, because he's had 2 or 3 years now, David Gray, to really put his imprint on things. And I think this season, with the preparation they'll have had, with the signings they've made, they've been given money, they've spent money, Hibs.
They have to evolve, don't they?
Yeah, they're beating Aberdeen, offering McGrath 3-year deals last season to bring McGrath to the club. They're not shy in dishing out a penny or two, so I do think it's David Gray's time now to really show that they can push on and get closer to the teams that finished above them last year.
Do you think that defensively that is where they have to make the big strides forward to become better, a lot better?
I think for me it's more style of play. When I mean style of play, that's where you're building from your Salingers and your back five, so be it when they're playing out. If they can get that bit to a better level, you then get Eldon, Boyle, Nathan Lowe more chances. That for me is the biggest thing. Can they have a better way of playing? We've seen, I know we'll go back to Jens last year and how they played out, and they played through pressure. Once you play through pressure against teams, spaces are bigger, and it allows your creative player more reign to go and create chances. At times, even tonight, and I did touch on it, Salinger just happy to go long because you've got the big guy up front. They've done it at times last year with Kieran Bowie, because you think he can always hold up. You don't always want your striker in a wrestling match with a centre back. You have to be a bit better. Sorry, you have to be a lot better than that for me, especially at Hibs. The fans do want to see an attractive style of play at times, and I just think that's been the inconsistency for me over the last few seasons. On their day, they can go and win a game, but on the following week they could quite easily lose a game.
So is that the aspiration, Rory, for next season? Just a wee bit better in the cup run, and narrow the gap on the teams above them, which this year were Motherwell, Rangers, Hearts and Celtic. Who do you think they'll have their eye on catching by any chance?
Well, I expect Hibs to finish above Motherwell this season. You know, Tom's mentioned a lot of players there, or we all have, without even mentioning the likes of Josh Campbell, who knows where the net is, as well. Nicky Cadden still to come back. Joe Newell, who I think is a terrific player in the middle of the pitch. So I think Hibs have got the squad to be sitting, looking, going. Look, I wouldn't put them in the same stratosphere as where Hearts were last season, but I would be looking, say, look, you know, going into the split, being in touching distance of second. If you end up finishing 10, 15 points behind them, fair enough. But I genuinely think Hibs have got the squad, if they get it right, to be a much better team than they've shown last season. That's not a slight on David Gray. He's built up, and managers do need time. I just think that this season is the time where this group of players that we've mentioned, with the new additions, need to step up and say, do you know what, forget, you know, making sure we're in the top 6 before pushing on for Europe and this and that. They need to go out and go, third is our minimum so far this season.
But for me, Rory, when you look at that and what we've looked at in the last season or two, they have to be less predictable than a ball out to Nicky Cadden, and it just gets, and as much as you get a fantastic delivery, you need to have different ways of playing at times.
That's why I'm saying it's on David Gray this season, in my opinion, because there's been reasons and maybe excuses or whatever else, and we're talking as if he hasn't done well. He has done very well, David Gray. He was under a lot of pressure at one point. He's came back and done it well, but to change the patterns of play or the style of play, that ultimately comes down to the manager.
Tom?
Yeah, I mean, look, what Hibs have as well, I mean, yes, they have new additions, but largely it's a fairly settled team. There's not a familiarity in this team, in this squad. Hearts are almost starting from scratch. Motherwell are rebuilding to an extent as well. So that's two of their rivals for second or third. Really kind of starting anew to a point. Whereas Hibs, I think, have more solidity in there. They've got a settled manager, a lot of players who've been playing quite a bit of football with each other for quite a long time. And that's got to be to their advantage. They're sprinkling in new players, Lowe being one of them, and he does look good. But I think I'm really interested to see how Hibs go this season.
I agree. So I think they should finish third. I really do. I think Hearts are in transition this season. I don't think they'll be quite where they were at last season. Motherwell, I don't think will be. I genuinely think, for all the reasons we've just mentioned, and you're right to say, Tom, that consistency in squad over the last 2 or 3 seasons, I genuinely think Hibs should finish third. I think they're capable of it. I think they probably will, in my opinion, this season, for different reasons surrounding Aberdeen, Hearts, etc. I think they will, but they certainly should, in my opinion.
Well, I think the second half is about to kick off, so I think it's time we reintroduce Mr. Thomas Duncan with second half commentary along with Rory and Scott of Hibs versus Malisheva.
Thanks, David. Yeah, change for the visitors. Keslin Shani, the centre-back, coming off. Arbor Pira is coming on, who's a kind of full-back, really, I think, by trade. So I don't know if that's a change of shape and maybe a bit more attacking shape for Malisheva, but we shall see. Certainly Hibs looking to, having got themselves in front and really well to do so before the half-time whistle in the tie, need to now go on and kill it off. If we can do that before the hour mark, get a couple of goals and start thinking about Motherwell on Sunday, that would be the ideal for David Gray as Malisheva get us underway in the second half at Easter Road. Hibs 3, Malisheva 0, 3-2 on aggregate as Ferrati goes for the switch of play, but there's been a foul on Jason Kerr on this near side, so Hibs will get the early free kick. And yes, interesting discussion there about where Hibs should finish or what they may be capable of. 5th place last season, 57 points. That was only one fewer than when they finished 3rd with 58 points, but I think if you're clubs like Hearts, Hibs, Aberdeen, the money you're spending, you should be aiming for at least 60 points a season, bare minimum. And as we know, that is very much easier said than done in a tough league that is the Scottish Premiership. Actually getting underway tomorrow night at Tannadice. Dundee United against Rangers, live commentary right here on Sports on BBC Radio Scotland as Chaiwa does well to halt a Malisheva attack. His pass, that's a wee bit of a beater, but he gets there. That's a poor pass as he tried to fizz it up towards Boyle, but there's two players in front of Martin Boyle.
He just had to go back into Chaiwa there and out the other side.
Malisheva on the ball.
That's the wee bits, isn't it, Rory? And we've seen in the first half just at times where there's no real pressure on the ball, and it's just where it's a lack of concentration or decision making, and against better quality opposition you get punished in these situations.
It seemed a strange decision. I mean, I don't know what was even trying, because he would have to pass it through to Malisheva bodies to make the pass he was trying to make. But I thought he was good in the first half of Beta, but certainly that pass wasn't his best moment.
Kriezio goes back to his goalkeeper of Delay. Hibs content to sit off the Kosovans a little bit here, as Nathan Lowe now pressures the goalkeeper, coming across to this near side, up the line for Veliu. Veliu, the pressure from Paslak, up the line, good challenge from Ahoro, stepped well into Malasheva's half, but they've done well here, the Kosovans, to work it to Verratti, but give it away.
If he gets that right, Hibs are in trouble, Thomas.
Yeah, and they do have some tidy technicians in their team, Malisheva, but showed that in the first leg, but been outclassed so far tonight as the referee awards a free kick to Miguel Chaiwa, 15 yards into Malasheva's half. And I think both sets of players are not enjoying some of the referees' decisions tonight, but Hibs get the benefit there.
That happens every week.
Yeah, what else is new? As Boyle makes a run down the left of the box, it's easily cleared. Throw into Hibs, though, in line just about with the 18-yard box. Obita coming up from left centre back. The fourth goal would give Hibs a 2-goal advantage in the tie, and you would think kill it off. Martin Boyle dribbling towards the box, gets the pass across to Paslak to Elding on the left foot, and he doesn't find the target. You can see what he was trying to do, just doesn't come off. Stays 3-0 Hibs.
Yeah, he went with the laces. I thought he was going to finesse it with the inside of the boot and try and wrap round it. Not an easy skill, but he went with the laces in the end, and it went well over the bar.
Passing the corner, for me, it's not as hard as people think it is. It's just the decision making for me in that area of the pitch. Eldon, listen, he's still a young player with so much promise, but that's a wee bits he needs to improve on. That's a real chance there, and he opts to obviously go with laces, as Rory says there, but he just has to step onto that and slide in the corner.
Sliding challenge, and goes back to Kriezio. Yeah, well, Nathan Lowe is only 20. It's been the biggest move of his career so far. Eldon as well, only 20, so it's a couple of young attackers with big potential that Hibs have got, but they're not the finished product by any means. Have to be a bit of patience with that.
I think Rory was being kind to him there, saying it was not an easy finish.
maybe not for.
It's not always the edge of the box. Do you think it was straightforward, do you?
There's no pressure, you've got the whole goal to aim for. I just think just shape into that far corner. Can I agree to disagree? Rory was a striker.
I'll leave that to you two. I certainly wouldn't score from there.
My finishes often look like that one as well.
Ahora,
great pass.
Wayward clearance that comes to Paslak, who's then sliced his own pass or clearance, whatever that was, into the air. Eldon takes it down, but then good pressure on Kerr, but he gets away with it. And Kerr up in there to Paslak, just a bit rough and ready this from Hibs as Eldon gets a shoulder in, but it's won by Gilani, and Chaiwa battling, doesn't win enough for Ratti. Lovely little back heel to Veliu, and now Lowe trying to disrupt, and Chaiwa, what a tackle that is, and Boyle's wanting it early. Mayer doesn't play it, now he does, and it's miles behind Martin Boyle, and that's a frustrating one for the Hibs captain as he drives down the left hand side. Still going Martin Boyle, but had a lot to do to take on 3 players.
He's got to go inside the fullback, Thomas. If he goes inside the fullback, Martin Boyle's running onto it rather than running back the way to collect it.
Yeah, you can see he's trying really hard. Mayer on his first start as the ball is played in behind her. Peter goes after it, but goes through to the goalkeeper. You see he's trying really hard, but just his pass and not quite coming off quite a few times tonight. It's
one of those passes, though, that it's because it's between the centre-back and the full-back, it needs to be into space. It doesn't need to be accurate, it doesn't need to be pinpoint, it's just into the space, and Martin Boyle, nobody's going to catch him.
There's Veliu on this near side. Much quieter night in attack for him compared to a week ago in Pristina. Malisheva played their home leg away from the town itself. about 40,000 people in the capital, Pristina, the national stadium of Kosovo. And they are on the ball here. Ferrati tries the ball out to Uka, but goes all the way through to Salinger. Hibs can't afford to drop the tempo. They are in front 3-2 on aggregate, but you know, the Hibs fans, I want to see them continue, start the second half like they did the first, and it's all a bit slow at the moment. Up to Nathan Lowe, heads it down, but second isn't won by Hibs, and Veliu.
Why is he doing that?
Explain, Scott.
They have a spare man in the left side centre back to play out, which they've done well when they've actually done it in the game. But Salinger opts to go for the punt from hands up to Nathan Lowe, and it just becomes a 50-50 when they can have comfortable possession to play through. I know I'm getting it really frustrates me that, because at this stage in the game where Hibs are 3-0 up and they're in control, and what they've actually done well is played through this side.
And there you go, quick passes. Elding Mulligan now out to Paslak on this right hand side. Paslak delivers the ball. Lowe's header straight at the goalkeeper, but much better from Hibs. The referee, I thought, was stop play there, but
it's good movement from Lowe there. Kind of fakes to go into the middle of the goals, comes to the front, just can't generate the power on it.
Veliu spreads the play out to Kreshnik Uka. His ball deflects off Mayer and comes back to him. Gives it to the far side and Pira. Won by Hibs, and Martin Boyle has it. Boyle to Elding in the centre circle, turns and can drive. Doesn't have an option to his right though. Finds a nice little pass inside to Mulligan though. Gets it back, Owen Eldon, then plays it between the defenders. Now chance here for Mayer, cuts it back. It's Josh Mulligan, saved by the goalkeeper. Right leg, brilliant stop. Now it's Elding, edge of the box, gets onto the left foot. Good tackle to take it away from him.
They've been a fantastic goal that from Hibs, and that's what I'm saying, when they've actually made passes and connected through the midfield. Owen Eldon picks up great space, plays a 1-2 and does exactly what Rory was saying Mayer should have done moments earlier, and just put the ball in the space for your full-back to come on to. And Josh Mulligan again just can't quite get it in the back of the net, but it's fantastic football.
Here's Paslak on this near side, sends it in again, straight to the defender. Bounces for Ohora, first time forward, and Chaiwa now. Paslak a bit deeper, doesn't have much room to work with to get a cross in, as it goes back to Chaiwa and about halfway. David Gray standing into his technical area, hands in pockets, much happier than he was a week ago. Did front up as he always does, David Gray, to be fair. The result, no excuses, etc. His team have been much better tonight. Can they increase their advantage in this tie, as Elding finds Lowe with a neat flick. Lowe holds it up, gives it to Chaiwa in the centre circle. Chaiwa going across the pitch to the far side, in front of the Pat Stanton stands. Floodlights on at Easter Roads. It's a lovely evening here in Edinburgh, and Hibs putting on a show here for the fans. 16,000 that have turned up. No travelling fans over from Kosovo, as Ohora controls, gives it to Martin Boyle. Good pass. Boyle square now for Mulligan. Mulligan into the box, finds Paslak. Paslak takes the shot, saved. Offside flag was up on this near side. Anyway, 3-0 Hibs. It remains 3-2 on aggregate.
Yeah, I think you hit the nail on the head a few minutes ago. Thomas, tempo. As soon as that tempo goes up a notch or two, then Malisheva just can't handle it. It's just that quickness of thought, quickness of pass, quickness of touch. It's just far superior to Malisheva Hibs, and when they do up the tempo, they can't live with them. But they will be keen to get that fourth, I think. If I was Nathan Lowe, I'd be desperate to get it, because if it does go to 4, he'll probably find himself off the pitch, and it's an opportunity for him to get another goal here tonight.
Here is Abisha, loses it. Chaiwa into Boyle, crowded out, but Hibs keep the ball. Mayer back to Jason Kerr, square forward on Ohora into Mulligan. Ohora, Paslak, Mulligan's made the run. Good pass from Paslak into Chaiwa in midfield. Chaiwa to Eldon, brilliant pass out to the left now for Mayer. Obita's made the underlapping run, that's where it goes. It's Obita, tries to pull it across. Well-timed challenge from Datia to block it, corner Hibs.
Again, Owen Eldon picking up lovely spaces behind that midfielder Malisheva. Great speed of thought, opens his body up and switches it out, and Hibs get down that side again, and that's where he looks really dangerous in the pockets. It's just about how much can Hibs get him on the ball.
Do you know what I love as well about Josh Mulligan? And everyone talks about his ability in terms of his fitness and his running and getting from box to box. He always looks forward. See, and Scott will tell you, having played the number 10 position as me as a striker, see, it frustrates a life out of me when they don't look. See, if a deep line midfield player doesn't look, it's very frustrating.
Corner to near post, Boyle touches it around the corner, Eldon just couldn't get onto it, sliding challenge is good. And Malisheva clear. They've tried to work that a couple of times tonight, the little one to the near post and then flip towards the penalty spot for someone to step on and hit. Hasn't quite worked out. Hibs switch the play, header one, and it's now Boyle. Now it's Paslak, and the cross is blocked by Ferrati. Back to Boyle. Good footwork. Oh, it's brilliant. Martin Boyle still going. Martin Boyle. Oh, what a goal! What a goal from the Hibs captain Martin Boyle, and you can bet he enjoyed that one. Vociferous celebration, silky dribbling skills, finished the match, and Hibs do have daylight in this tie. Hibs 4, Malisheva 0, 4-2 on aggregate.
Some bit of magic there from Martin Boyle. Takes the ball out this guy and then just proceeds to dance through 3 or 4 Malisheva players. You think he's going to hit it early and he just throws that little disguise in and opens the gap and he drives it low into the left hand corner. What a finish from Martin Boyle, what a scoreline for Hibs, and what a decision to give another year's contract.
Yeah, listen, Scott's talking about it from a Hibernian and a Martin Boyle point of view, but that defending is so poor. It really is. It's good skill, you can't take it away from him, but Krezu and Shani, I mean, just standing watching him at times, but take nothing away from Martin Boyle. You can only play what's in front of you, and he danced through a few of them, and it was a nice finish in the end, low, hard.
Well, Martin Boyle in his 11th season at Hibs, and Hibs have won it here. Back to Boyle from low. It's Boyle. Good recovery challenge as he was looking to pull the trigger again. And here is Gilani. Yeah, we went into the final day of the season here against Motherwell. Hibs had the signs up on the big screen saying thank you to Martin Boyle, and then just before kickoff it was announced he'd signed a 1-year contract extension.
Only in football.
And the graphic had been updated in short order. Here come Malisheva though, Gilani on the edge of the box. It's a good block from Paslak. He's been excellent tonight. As Ferrati picks up the loose ball in midfield. Hibs 4, Malisheva 0, 4-2 on aggregate. Hibs on course for the third qualifying round in a meeting with Skendija of North Macedonia, who triumphed late on 4-3 on aggregate against Bravo of Slovenia.
I think we'll see a few changes soon ahead of the season opener at the weekend. From a Hibs point of view, they'll want to get the players that will be starting that match off, I think, and rested up. I think that's enough now. The game's out of sight.
Yeah, Motherwell, well, we were watching the game down in the press room before the match, and the manager's changed, a lot of the players have changed, and I know you have to take the level of opposition into account, but we have to do the same for Hibs tonight. But they look like they're playing the same type of football. It was really entertaining to watch, and they got the 3 goals, 5-0 on aggregate, so they'll be tough opposition, as Bisha looked like he controlled that with his arm there, but maybe my eyesight is, the referee disagrees. Hibs have managed to win it on the edge of their own box. Mulligan now driving forward, Mulligan taking it inside, holding off Toole. That's brilliant from Josh Mulligan. Now it's Nathan Lowe, takes it inside the defender. He's got the gas to get there on it. Nathan Lowe, he's got Martin Boyle to his left. Boyle onto his right foot, squares it across for Elding, saved by the goalkeeper, took it first time corner.
Me and Rory there, just he's thinking he's got to shoot, and I'm thinking you got to slip him in. Maybe just the execution of the pass, you've got to put it on his back foot, he's touching in front of him. But again, that's Josh Mulligan. You see him driving from mid, that's him at his best. One of his best assets when he steps into the game and opens everything up.
Oh, you're Nathan Lowe, you're 4-0 up, the game's out of sight, you know there's a good chance you're coming off soon. It falls perfectly for him just to guide it into that far corner, and the keeper hasn't looked too hot at times, getting down to things.
Not as easy as it looks though.
No, well, it was earlier on in your opinion.
Yeah, that's why I said it, Roy.
Corner near side to Hibs, 4-0 on the night, 4-2 on aggregate in the Conference League. Live on Sportsnet, and there's bodies everywhere in the box as that corner came in, and the referee's going to have this retaken. I have to say I didn't see what happened there, but four players ended up on the turf, and so this will be an excuse for a lecture here. Hibs will retake. Adam Mayer on this near side. And Hibs have a tough start to the season, Motherwell, as we said, and they got a European tie either side of Rangers away. In comes the ball now, and it falls in the box. Jai was there, Boyle, and he's claiming that was deflected wide. Referee disagrees, give the goal kick as he lashed at it, looking for Hibs' 5th of the night. And it stays 4-0. And a triple sub coming here. Chris Cadden is coming on, and Martin Boyle is going to come off. And he gets standing ovation. And his performance been excellent. Hit the bar, and of course scored the 4th goal not too long ago. So Hibs making the change as Joe Newell replaces him. And Josh Mulligan also coming off. Chris Cadden is coming on, and Azim Abdullahi, one of the summer signings, former Celtic youth player, coming on. So Cadden, Newell and Abdullahi on. Mulligan, Boyle. I didn't quite see who the other player, Mayer, it was to go off. So 3 changes from David Gray, definitely with a view of Sunday, I think.
Yeah, sensible substitutions there. A chance for other players coming into the squad to go and impress. Comfortable lead now. That's a full shite.
Yeah, it's Malisheva with the ball, running across the pitch here, and they have been brought back down to earth with a bump in Kosovo a week ago. It was the best result in their history, and it was quite rightly well celebrated by their small band of fans and the players. It was quite nice actually to get pitch side as a late one goes in on Eldon. Looks at the referee, doesn't get any change from him.
He's not interested in those ones, the ref, is he?
A few from the World Cup though, isn't it? Because they were really lenient at the World Cup.
And Chris Cadden gets a flick on it, cleared on the volley by Jason Kerr. Lowe gets a flick on, but it's to nobody because it just runs through to the defender. Crazy, not much more he could have done, the striker. And as Malisheva play it forward, little touch is deflected off Ohora, bounces for Veliu, looking for Ibishi, and Hibs play it back to Salinger, who plays it up to halfway. Abdullahi can't win the header, Newell gets onto it, and Ohora with a touch finds Abdullahi, and now Cadden blocked, and Hibs throw in. Chris Cadden on for his first appearance of the season. Was linked with Aberdeen, but that seems to have died down.
He's not tall enough.
As Eldon heads it to Abdullahi, and now here comes Paslak, slides it to Chris Cadden, right hand side of the box, chance for Hibs, good ball, 6 yard puck, it hits off Lowe, who wasn't expecting it as the defender slid in and missed it, and fortunately for Malisheva, it falls to the goalkeeper.
Yeah, he's a little bit unlucky. You know, he thinks the defender's going to get it. He's no idea it's going to bounce up. You could argue he should be in with the defender trying to put it in the net, but he's slightly unlucky there.
That was one where I would say that's a hard one.
I would like to see those chances back, because I think Eldings was further out and, you know, not quite as easy given the pace on the ball. The second one for Lowe, running in, he's running onto the ball, he's inside the box. I think it's a much easier finish.
The Lowe one was actually similar to, the goalkeeper taking a risk there, and he gets out of jail because he finds a teammate. Abdullahi is penalised for shoving over the Tia, so Hibs don't manage to profit from that, but the goalkeeper took far too long there. So Dulai, and one of the players going to be coming on for Laurent Gelani for Malisheva as they make the changes here. And also going to bring on Omer Bayraktari, 19-year-old Kosovan. Dulai, striker. So that's how Malisheva started, as a youth club really, and grown into a professional outfit in Kosovo. Historic result for them last week, but they've had no answer to Hibs tonight. Hibs 4-0 up, 4-2 on aggregate, long ball, and a substitute straight into the action, but Obita has recovered well to get in front of him, good speed, and then he's kept it in as well. It goes down under the challenge from Dulai, and It will be a free kick to Hibs. Excellent defending from Jordan Obita, who has looked assured in that left centre-back berth, but it'll be a different, much different level on Sunday. Motherwell come calling. See if he continues there or whether...
He did play there at times last season.
He did, yeah, that's absolutely, he's fairly used to it.
Times, and certainly the games in Europe last year where he played him on that left wing back position instead of Nicky Cadden, I think purely for athleticism.
Yeah.
We obviously don't have Nicky Cadden, we know how good his delivery is, but he's been, I think the three Hibs defenders have been solid tonight. I think they've stepped in at the right moments and been really aggressive. Yes, it's been comfortable, they haven't been tested too much, but they've mopped up what they had to.
Here is Jason Kerr, finds Obita. Back to Kerr, into midfield for Abdallah. Good pass to Ahora. Ahora has options ahead of him, long ones, and he goes for it. Finds neither as the defender heads it back to his goalkeeper. You could just see Warren Ahora winding up there. Couldn't pick out Chris Cadden or Nathan Lowe. Chaiwa still going. Chris Cadden trying to put pressure on by Rakhtari. Vitanai, and then Skovgor back to his goalkeeper. Malisheva. Just look like they've kind of run out of ideas right now, although that's a good pass into Nafiu, and then he takes too many touches and Newell is straight onto him. Ball goes back to Ferrati though.
The teacher's asking why he didn't just play it out to him. He was in acres of space on this left hand side.
Wow, that's a poor pass straight to Elding. Elding knocks it back to Obita. Obita fires a good pass into Abdallah. Abdallah for Newell, and across the centre circle to Ahora. Cadden's pulled out to this near side. That's where the ball goes. Chris Cadden. Cadden into Newell. Newell carries forward. Joe Newell into Abdallah. Back to Newell. Edge of the box. Newell, lovely football. Low. Saved by the goalkeeper. Chance for 5-0. That was a wonderful move from Hibernian. Uka trying to carry it forward, won by Ahora. Just about the halfway line into Chaiwa. Chaiwa, he's got Paslak coming forwards. Paslak to Elding. Feels the touch from the defender, goes down, gets a free kick, far side.
Yeah, once again, they're just walking through Malisheva now. I think Lowe will be disappointed he didn't, excuse the pun, go hard and low across the goalkeeper there, because if the goalkeeper dives, palms it out, other players are following in. You're always taught as a striker to go across the goalkeeper. Just puts his laces through it. Goalkeeper spreads himself and makes the save.
Hibs trying to go quickly there, called back. 15,182 the attendance here at Easter Road tonight. 0 travelling fans. Unsurprising. Malisheva don't have a big support in a very small country, so here come Hibs. Chris Cadden with the delivery. It's over Ahora, headed away out to the far side. Krieziu up the line to Nafiu, and his touch is woeful, out for the Hibs throw-in. And I'm sure the Hibs fans, relieved such as they are that this tie has been turned round and they lead 4-0, would like to get a bit of icing on the cake as well, that a couple of goals.
Yeah, as a contested games away from Malisheva, Hibs totally dominant, totally deserved the lead. They will go through to the next round, but just this last part of the game, it's a chance for Hibs to go and be ruthless, go and add a bit of icing on top of the cake. As they say, guys coming on who want to stake a claim, getting in the starting 11, don't come off the gas. Can you play with that intensity right through the 90 minutes?
Singing David Gray's name as well. What a difference a week makes.
Yeah, because we had the banners up from the Ultras, as Scott mentioned pre-match, about 2,000 miles, 0 apologies. And to be fair, when I spoke to David Gray after the game, he did say, I'm not going to apologise because fans don't want to hear apologies, they just want us to win the game next week, which is fair enough, because he was very regretful about the whole performance. Fronted up, certainly his team have done more on the pitch tonight than he could have ever said. As it's floated into the Hibs box, won by Ahora, drops for Kerr on the volley. Not the cleanest of clearances, but it does the job just about enough, as it goes back to Malisheva, and then the cross is cut out by
So
Newell
poor.
and headed away by Paslak for a throw-in.
Such a good opportunity for a team that have had no sighters of goal all night, just to float it into the box and try and grab a goal, and the quality is so poor.
Yeah, I guess if a lot of Hibs fans in here tonight, as Malisheva come down the right-hand side, it's floated in. O'Hora glances it away to his near side, and it's Bajraktari gives it to Uka, and back to Skovgaard, who clips one down the side of the box, headed by Chris Cadden, and Abdullah's onto it, does well to keep it in, and then feels the nudge from Ferrati and gets a free kick. Yeah, a lot of Hibs fans who may not have seen the first leg, obviously vast majority won't have travelled out, and more might not have been able to watch it, so they might be thinking on this evidence, the way Hibs have played tonight against Malisheva, how on earth did you lose 2-0 in the first leg? Not that it matters now, but the difference in quality has been stark tonight. It certainly wasn't last week, but all that matters is it's 4-0 to Hibs right now and 4-2 on aggregate.
What I would say on that is, though, in the rounds coming up, you won't get away with that. You won't get away with that again. You have to be much better defensively out of possession. And I think the key thing in European football is when you're on the ball, you cannot be loose, you cannot turn over the ball needlessly. And tonight, listen, they haven't been great at all by any stretch of the imagination, but Hibs have done a professional job. They've defended well. There's been a real purpose about their attacking play.
He's been down with a head knock for about 2 minutes, and it did look a sore one. I think he heads the back of Lowe's head, but the referee's got to stop the game.
Well, he hasn't until the goalkeeper puts it out for him, and now the player Skovgaard gets to his feet, so and then he's really unhappy with the referee that he hasn't stopped the game, as he points to his head that it was a head knock, as Rory says.
And maybe he is at it, we don't know, but the referee can't take a chance in that situation. It went on for far too long with him clutching his head after what looked like a genuine head knock.
Chris Cadden throws it straight out for a goal kick to give the ball back to Malisheva. Hibs 4, Malisheva 0. We've played 28 minutes of the second half. 3 first half goals from Hibs, Elding, Paslak and Lowe. Martin Boyle with a lovely fourth in 57 minutes. Those are the goals for Hibernian tonight. And the league season underway tomorrow across the divisions on Saturday, but Premiership tomorrow night. Dundee United against Rangers. Derek McInnes's first competitive outing as Rangers manager at a, I think, sold out Tannadice. That will sound brilliant on your phone or your wireless tomorrow on Sports Sounds, BBC Radio Scotland. Tannadice will be jumping as Salinger clears. Elding tries to flick it on, does into midfield. Chaiwa trying to retrieve possession.
See when we're looking at what Hibs are going to look like into the season, especially at this point in the game, Rory, where they're so comfortable in the game, I just think they can have a lot better possession of the game, a lot more control than allowing Malisheva to even be near the box. I think they can manage it a lot better than we've seen maybe the last 5-7 minutes.
And it comes down to what a lot of what we've spoken about, is decision making, looking after the ball as they win it back here.
Yeah, Abdullahi breaking forward, one of the fresh faces at Easter Road, one of 5 recruited in this window. Other than that, a familiar looking bunch as he eventually runs out of road and has the ball prodded away from out for a throw-in on the far side. Azim Abdullahi signed from Leyton Orient for a fee of around 300 grand. Scotland under 21 international, started at Celtic, went down to Leicester and Swansea. He's played 31 times for Swansea. He went to Leyton Orient, played 65 times, 58 of those in League One in England. So he's 23 years old. He's got good first team experience. He's off the bench in both games so far this season for Hibs. Is Low, twists and turns right on the line. He's done brilliantly. What a turn that is, and he's found Paslak in the box. Paslak trying to go on the outside, and he has it taken off him, and Skovgaard calms things down, gives it to Aliou, and he, at the second attempt, clears it down the pitch. Newell's header headed into Vitia. Vitia, good composure, the turn and keep hold of the ball. There's a lot of space on this near side, but no one there at the moment. Eventually it's passed out to Ferrati, back to Vitia.
Just to go back to Scott's point, in terms of controlling the game, when you are in the season and you're a side that wants to be up the upper echelons, finishing third, etc. You know, controlling the game, and we spoke about consistency as well. You need to have large portions of the ball, because if you leave too much up to chance, that's where inconsistencies creep in, because you're not controlling what you can control. And there's an opportunity here tonight for them to pass the ball around, try a few things, but retain the ball better. But that being said, I mean, it's difficult to be too critical of them tonight.
Nathan Lowe, well, he's missed that one unchallenged, took his eye off it. It's Chaiwa. It's even just as a guy. Why did they go long with the goal kick?
So he's kicked the ball about 10 times. I think one has went through, and yes, it resulted in one of the goals, but it was the one time when he kicked to a space, not to Nathan. Sorry,
Scott. It was Chaiwa who's surging into the box. It's a good challenge from Krezu, corner to Hibs. 4-0 up, 4-2 on aggregate as they look to add to their tally this evening. But yeah, when you're talking about getting that control, I mean, you don't need to go long with the goal kick. You could just play it out from the defender. Malisheva are tired, and the corner is about to come in from Chris Cadden on the far side. He's looking for a fifth goal. Packed the 6-yard box. In swinger. Goalkeeper thought about coming, didn't get anywhere near it, and then there's a Hibs head on it that doesn't go on target. And Thibaut Clichy is going to come on for Hibs for Nathan Lowe, and he gets a warm reception as he goes off. Scored his first Hibs goal to make it 3-0 in the first half. He's had a couple of other chances which were saved by the goalkeeper. He'll be delighted after last week missing those two big ones that he's opened his account, and that will certainly take the pressure off the 20-year-old Stoke City loanee.
It'll be interesting to see now whether they are a little bit more patient with their build-up, because they don't have that option up there of someone who's going to fight and barge around and take the ball in.
Malisheva, well, it was a pass, but Skovgaard's dealt with it well in space in his own box. Thibaut Clichy, Hibs record signing, yet to have a really serious impact. Showed flashes in the first half of last season, went to Randers on loan at the start of February. Didn't have a prolific time there either, so it doesn't look like he's going to be first choice for Hibs this season either, so he's got to make the most of the minutes he does get.
Yeah, I think when you look at his profile, and it all leads back to us talking about how Hibs play with the ball. If you're going to get someone with him with his attributes, it has to be space in behind, slide rule passes, balls into space. You have to connect the game to open up the spaces to show what he's good at. As Rory says, if you go, like we've just seen there, going long, he's a wrong player for that sort of football. And that's not to say he doesn't go to a different sort of environment and a team who plays to his strengths, and you see a good player there.
Yeah, they played in Ligue 1 with Bordeaux, albeit briefly, and had a decent spell as well in Switzerland before he joined Hibs for that record fee of, I think it was just over £1 million. So it's a significant outlay for Hibs, and they certainly would love Conference League phase football for the first time, because that would be a guaranteed sort of 4 or 5 million quid for the club, which Hibs, Hearts and Aberdeen don't budget for every year, but they certainly want to be getting that in the door every season, as well as selling players to balance the books. Important for Hibernian that they start to do that.
It also puts players in the shop window, Thomas, in terms of the European games, to be able to move them on. Everything that comes with group stage European football is absolutely worth getting.
Nice play from Malisheva here as they come forward. Pira gives it out to the right hand side, cross comes in, Salinger will take that. Yeah, but it's also, we've seen when Hearts and Aberdeen have played league phase, they've really struggled not only in Europe but in the league as well, and you kind of feel like you have to be playing European football regularly to get used to it and be able to deal with that. And if you don't do that, you're only in every 3, 4, 5 seasons, then it's actually harder.
Yeah.
And here comes Abdoulaye, goes to ground, and Abdoulaye takes it off him. He wants a free kick. Abdoulaye wins it back off Uka, and it goes to Warren O'Hora.
Salinger did do it the first time he gets the ball. He does go long again. You just feel like, and they may not do it when it comes to the league football, but if they're going to do that against Motherwell, if they're going to continue to play the way they've been playing, which might be difficult under a different manager, but early signs are good against Celtic, against Rangers, against Hearts. You're not going to have enough of the ball, in my opinion, to do what you want to do. So I don't know whether it was a tactic tonight to get them up the pitch, to keep that continued momentum, that waves of attack, get the fans on side, get the ball in the final third constantly. So it'll be interesting to see whether they keep doing that when the league starts, but it's not particularly easy on the eye.
The other thing I would say about that, Rory, is at times Malisheva played through Hibs very comfortably up until the final third. There's been spaces if they'd link up, and Hibs look different out of possession. You'll see now they're in a 5, but a lot of the times they've been in 4-4-2 when they don't have the ball. We're used to seeing them in that back 5, and that takes a bit of work, and against better opposition, especially Motherwell, who have a certain way of playing. If they're going to press like that or sit off the game or leave these spaces and don't go man for man, they're going to get played round, and they haven't obviously seen that creativity from Malisheva tonight because of the level of opposition. But there is still bits there Hibs need to work on for as comfortable as he's been tonight.
Yeah, and Malisheva certainly a much better team at home than they were, but that's a brilliant ball into Klidge. Now he's got Chaiwa and Elding. He plays it to Elding. Elding on the left foot straight at the goalkeeper, and that's hugely frustrating for the Irishman. Now we've had a debate about two previous
chances. We're going to agree on this one.
We're going to agree that that should be 5-0.
He tries to do him with the eyes. He tries to fake he's going to put it in one corner, and then he's shutting his mouth. He knows he's disappointed. He tries to catch the goalkeeper out. He doesn't need to stick it in the corner.
Decision making, three chances he's had where he should do better in all three. For me, it's the wrong decision making type of finish.
Yeah, it was a good fizzed pass into midfield that allowed that Hibs move to come off, and although they have gone long at times, it's been a bit frustrating, maybe not as much control. When they have played, they've done really well.
Yeah, and that's what we touch on. You want to see that consistency.
Here come Malisheva. Pira out to the far side, inside ball to Lowe, or to Dulai, and it comes to the fullback. He takes a strike. Oh, what a goal! Brilliant from Bayraktari, and Malisheva have a moment to celebrate at Easter Road, and they're back to within 1 goal on the aggregate. No one expected that. Umar Bayraktari unleashes from the edge of the box. Salinger got something on it, but it crept into the corner. It's Hibs 4, Malisheva 1, 4-3 on aggregate.
Yeah, it's a fantastic finish. Just opens up his body and finds that top corner. But again, we just spoke about it, when they're in that defensive shape, you have to go and get tight to someone. It's Joe Newell there, it just doesn't get tight enough, and it allows him the chance of a sighted goal, and he takes care of it. And now, we spoke about it, if Hibs were in the lead, the momentum swings a little bit. There comes a little bit of belief in Malisheva when the game should have been put to bed half an hour ago. Just that little drop in intensity, that's what can happen.
And 7 minutes left. Well, Malisheva on the ball. Matthew, good challenge from Joe Newell. The referee's given the free kick, and that would have stopped a Hibs counter there because Klidge was on it.
Uka went down there earlier, and then he realised that Malisheva were on the attack, so rather than ride around the ground, he gets himself back up. But you'd expect Malisheva to throw the kitchen sink at it now. Why not?
Ferrati on the left touchline, inside to Uka, blocked by O'Hora. Out for a throw into Malisheva on this near side. 6 minutes less plus stoppage time. 4-1 on the night to Hibs, 4-3 on aggregate. Needlessly nervy end potentially in terms of Malisheva trying to force extra time. Here's Pira driving forward. Klidge, good work right back, forces him to turn and stop, and then Klidge gets a little nudge on it, but not enough to take it off the, and then the sliding challenge goes in, and he was just over eager there, Thibaut Klidge, and he's going to get booked as well. And I think that was just frustration. He had a couple of nibbles that almost came off, and then he's just slid in there.
Yeah, his teammates, from a Malisheva point of view, Pira has the ball. His teammates looked like they didn't want the ball when he was just running in circles looking for someone to ask for the ball, when Klidge gets a little bit too overhyped and ends up wiping him out.
Free kick to Malisheva, centre circle. Hibs with some defending to do here.
I mean, they will kick themselves if they concede a goal between now and the end of the match, because they should have scored about 8 goals tonight, Hibs, and they've got themselves to blame for letting the Malisheva creep back into the game.
Switch of play out to this near side. Vitia has picked it up. Touch right on the touchline. Bayraktari goes on the outside. The ball goes inside. Now it's Bayraktari. Back to Nafiu. Nafiu's going to send it in from deep. Obita is underneath it, heads it away. Chaiwa's on the seconds, good header away from Pira as well. Now Chaiwa can drive forward. Ferrati's chasing him. Chaiwa looks powerful there, but he halts on the touchline. He sends it in for Eldon. Eldon's made the run and it comes off his shoulder and goes into the gloves of the goalkeeper. Avdiu. And the chance disappears. 4 minutes left, plus stoppage time at Easter Road. Hibs 4, Malisheva 1, 4-3 in aggregate. Malisheva getting one back just a few moments ago through Bajraktari, which has cut the aggregate score to just 1 in it, and then Hibs pass it straight out the pitch.
No pressure, passing the ball too early, and that's what you get. You put yourselves under needless pressure.
Skovgor at the back for Malisheva, who are seeing a lot of the ball, but there's maybe not quite that urgency yet to try and get one, but they've worked it nicely there. A bit of patience to Nafiu, and it goes back to Skovgor up front now to Ferrati, and that's a lovely play, but then a little flick from Dulai, intercepted by Newell. Now Obita back to Salinger, who goes long, but Kliji is never favourite, doesn't even challenge for it because Rieziu is a good bit taller than him, and the referee is spotted the offside, was it? And has it gone out in the offside, I think, then against Malisheva. So
Malisheva should be going 5-6 minutes without getting a touch of the ball, but it seems to be Hibs who can't get a grip of the game at this moment in time.
Martin Boyle named player of the match here in the stadium in Easter Road.
How did you know that, Thomas, before it was announced?
It's the fancy screens which we've been treated to at Easter Road. Martin Boyle since departed after making it 4-0 onto the bench. Cadden throw in 18-yard line, and Abdullahi, I don't know what he was waiting for there, but then the flag goes up.
That's why he waited, because he was offside.
Yeah, good point. As a free kick is given to Malisheva, who are only trailing by 1 goal on aggregate. Hibs, as it stands, going through to face Skindija of Macedonia in the next round. And that will be a upgrade in opposition, you would suspect. Switch of play from Malisheva. There's Nafiu in the centre circle, across to Skovgor, then to Bayraktari, infield to Nafiu. Not the best pass, had nothing on it really, as it goes through to Obita, who smashes it long, and Kliji looked like he was manhandled there. Referee not interested. Play on. Malisheva in possession, and Hibs with still a bit of work to do in this tie win.
See, when you don't have the ball, when you give away the ball needlessly, and you don't have control and you're 4-0 up in the game, that's why there's no intensity about the pressing now. We Hibs out of possession, and it's allowed Malisheva to creep back into the game. Yes, it's 4-1, but in terms of the overall tie, it's allowed them to creep back into the game.
Hibs throw down in front of us. I think we're going to get 3 added minutes at the end of this game. We've still got 45 seconds left of the 90 to play. Hibs 4-3 up on aggregate, 4-1 on the night, and they are making a little bit more hard work of it than they should have, given the chances they've had and
you see there as well, Thomas, sorry to interrupt, with the new rules that are coming in. Chaiva goes down with cramp, the referee runs over. Do you want the physio on? And obviously with the Malisheva only needing 1 goal, he's trying to run it off. He doesn't want treatment because he needs to go off for a minute.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, you have to, if you go down and get treatment, you must then be removed from the pitch for a minute before you can re-enter. So trying to cut out the time wasting and tactical injuries. Eldon goes down there from the throw in. Malisheva have it. I think it's now going to be 4 added minutes. So indeed it is. The board goes up, down in front of us. So 4 minutes. Hibs, and Newell. That looked like it might get intercepted, but it's found Paslak, who's surging down the left-hand side of the box. Paslak taking it to the corner flag. He's got 2 on him, and he has not managed to win the throw-in, and he's furious at that decision. as it's thrown quickly to Nafiu. Doesn't look before he passed that. Intercepted by Cadden into Elding, and then Elding plays it back to Ahora. Cadden's out on this near side. Cadden controls. Cadden looks up, delivers low. Clichy slipped at the crucial moment. If he had stayed on his feet, he would have had a tap in. He's claiming he was fouled. Chaiwa still going. Chaiwa back to Paslak. Paslak, left-hand side, Newell. And Chaiwa at the corner flag, trying to win a corner, throw in or something, and hasn't managed to do it. Goal kick, 4-1 to Hibs, 4-3 on aggregate against the Kosovan side Malisheva. And we've got 3 minutes of stoppage time left. And Easter Road is a bit more nervy, and it should have been as Hitais drives forward and then runs into Hora, but he was impeded. Malisheva free kick. So things getting a bit tetchy, a bit tense here.
Yeah, Abdullah's desperate to try and win the ball back, but nobody goes with him. He's hunting himself.
David Gray, edge of his technical area, be annoyed that Hibs are kind of having to see this out a bit. Malisheva just need 1 to force extra time. Played nearly 2 of the 4 added minutes. Nafiu free kick, 15 yards into Hibs half, 10 yards in from the left-hand touchline. Hibs with their defensive line on the edge of the D. It's high. Uka's dropped into the penalty spot, miles offside at the moment. As it comes in, looking for the seconds, Hibs win first contact, and in fact they won the free kick. Foul on Elding, and that is why cheer is going round Easter Road right now, and then a yellow card is issued, I think, to Vitia there for his protest at the referee. I think both sides have been a bit unimpressed with the Hungarian officials tonight.
They don't like the old sarcastic applause the referees, do they?
No, I think the player knew he was going in the book there. Salinger will take this free kick. Just a minute and 10 seconds left for Hibs. Salinger goes long, but Clige is the one up there, but he's won it. And Skogard, though, wins the seconds. It goes back to the goalkeeper.
And then you have to defend again. You just give the ball away. This last 15-20 minutes should have been so comfortable for Hibs, and take nothing away from the performance. First half really good, start the second half they did create chances, but the way this game's kind of petered out for Hibs, David Gray, I would imagine, would be unhappy with how this game's played out the last 15-20.
Yeah, and it means the fans, go away not as happy as they should after a 4-1 win and a kind of morale recovering result and performance, certainly for an hour, 65-70 minutes. As Nafiu takes it on halfway, trying to make things happen. Are Malisheva going to fashion one last chance? They've only got about 15 seconds left as Valier goes down the line looking to go after it. Obita wins it and absolutely blasts it into the east stand. Throw in though to Malisheva. This will be the last play, you would think.
I can't believe the centre-backs are not just going up and getting in the box.
Yeah, Malisheva keeping, well, Kreziu's going now, is he? Well, he's working about the edge of the box, the captain. Long throw comes in. Hibs need to defend this. Oh, it's flicked towards the penalty spot. Eldon is blocked, and then Paslak shields the ball really well, but the cross comes back in, deflected off Paslak, corner.
Oh, it's over.
Oh, and the referee's blown the full-time whistle. Well, Hibs were embarrassed in Kosovo a week ago, and they have redeemed themselves at Easter Road this evening. A brilliant first half performance where they blew the Kosovan side away. Goals from Elding, Paslak, and a first in the green and white for Nathan Lowe. Martin Boyle added a fine individual effort on 57 minutes to make it oh so comfortable and give Hibs a 2-goal advantage on aggregate. David Gray will be frustrated that Bayraktari was allowed to fire in from distance and score with 7 minutes to go to make it a bit more of a nervy end for Hibs than it should have been, because they had chances to score more than the 4, and they actually did. But in the end, it's job done. Hibernian will march on into the third round of qualifying for the Conference League, because at Easter Road it finished Hibernian 4, FC Malisheva 1, and 4-3 on aggregate.
Hibernian in the UEFA Conference League qualifiers.
Live on Sports Sound.
From BBC Radio Scotland.
The new season cometh. Old foes, new managers, big dogs, and wee challengers.
Right, enough of that. No rhyming, no poetry.
Whoa, no poetry?
Aye, sorry Stuart, we're meant to be dumbing down.
BBC Radio Scotland. Scottish football. Whenever, wherever you are.
Now we've returned from the international stage. Attention turns to the 26-27 season.
This Saturday show previews the weekend's fixtures before Off the Ball with certified national treasures Stuart Cosgrove and Tam Cowan.
Sports Sound draws together commentary from around the grounds with the latest goals as they happen.
And get the latest news and analysis anytime with the Scottish Football Podcast.
The league returns tomorrow evening from 6 with Dundee United versus Rangers on BBC Radio Scotland and Sounds.
Yes, folks, plenty to look forward to across the first weekend of the Premiership. Season all starts tomorrow night at Tannadice. Dundee United versus Hibs versus Rangers. 8 o'clock kick-off. The show starts at 6 with all the big match build-up. But back to tonight and the European action. Tom, 4-1 Hibs, 4-3 on aggregate. A wee bit anxious there at the end. Fair to say, comprehensive on the night. Narrow over the piece. A strange old tie.
Yeah, a little disappointed, as Scott was saying there. I completely agree with him. It kind of petered out. Hibs looked like they felt that the job done. They hadn't really the job done because, you know, they've won the tie 4-3. They could have had a nightmare. Could have had a penalty given against them, a deflected shot at the end, and it's 4-4. We're going to extra time, which would have been ludicrous given the dominance that they had in the game for the most part, given the ordinariness of Malisheva tonight. But listen, they've got through. They did their work early on in the game. I thought they were very good when, you know, really kind of getting their fans behind them. Didn't go half an hour, 40 minutes without scoring, so it wasn't tense in the stadium. It looked fans were with them all the way. But you know, I'd like to have seen them score another couple. Really make this a rout. Maybe send a statement out. Give themselves a real boost going into the league, start of the league season. But they're through. That's the object of the exercise. But I just thought, it could have been better.
Yeah, so they are indeed through, as Tom says. Hibs will be at home to Shkendija of North Macedonia next week in the first leg of their third qualifying round tie. Motherwell will play Finnish side HJK in Helsinki away in the first leg of their tie. That's after Alfred Johansson's side won 3-0 away to HB in the Faroe Islands for a 5-0 aggregate win. So congratulations in order for both clubs. Safe passage through. Perhaps a wee bit stickier for Hibs. Well, definitely a wee bit stickier for Hibs than Motherwell, but something to celebrate. Tom, two clubs through.
Yeah, totally. I mean, listen, I'm not, setting off fireworks here. But the two teams have won tonight. They've won 3-0 and 4-1. Comprehensive. So that's great. They're both into the next round. That's not to be sniffed at. I can't say for years and years, criticise teams, Scottish teams for going out against moderate opposition, and now not praise them for beating moderate opposition. Both of them did well. Both of them went through, and they're into the next round, and that's good. It's good for everybody. I don't think we could have. Well, we would have had to have stomach if Hibs had lost this tie. It would have been an embarrassment for Hibs, and it would have been an embarrassment for Scottish football. But they've done their work. They were 4-0 up after 57 minutes. They've done their work. It was a bit hairy after that, but they've done it, and Motherwell did it very well before. So they're through, and it's a good night. We've had plenty of bad ones, David.
It was a bad one for Hearts over the piece. Eliminated by Sturm Graz in the Champions League qualifiers. They drop into the Europa League third qualifying round, and they will play, wait for it, Benfica in the third qualifying round of the Europa League. Benfica, who trails Saint-Gallen of Switzerland 2-1 from the first leg, won 5-0 in Lisbon for a 6-2 aggregate win. And that is a big one, isn't it? A wee trip to Lisbon to face Benfica, one of the great, for people of a certain age, has such a resonance, Benfica, doesn't it?
Well, yeah, and I mean, they're great club. Some tremendous players. Pavlidis, we know about. You know, they don't have the superstars that they've had in previous years. There's a big turnover of players there. People always looking for players from Benfica and Porto. Some of them going for telephone numbers, but they're still a very accomplished team. They are, and I know Scott might be asking me about this, the UEFA coefficient rankings.
Got them out.
So I'm going to preempt your question there, Scott. So they're 16th. They are 16th in the coefficient rankings. Skenduja are 146th. And they'll play Hibs.
What are Hearts and Hibs in this coefficient ranking?
Don't ask me that. I'm just giving you
He's not sitting there with all that information.
This is just from memory, just off the top of my head. But HJK Helsinki have actually a lower rating. They're 153rd, lower than Skenduja. So, geeks like me find this stuff very interesting. You know.
Did you have the individual club rankings rather than the coefficient? No.
Well, I mean, what do you want me to do? Do you want me to give you XG for every one of these tasks?
Let's get back to the football.
Let's get back to
XG does not count as football.
So Tom was saying that it got interesting at the end, Scott. More interesting than perhaps it should have been. Even perhaps a wee bit anxious the last 10 minutes or so.
Yeah, and all through Hibs' own doing, if I'm totally honest. The game should have been out of sight. Highlight the second half, obviously, a piece of magic from Martin Boyle. Great finish, great feet, dance through a few defenders, and then after that you're expecting another couple of goals. There was opportunities created and chances not taken, but at the same time when there's 20 minutes to go, and this is what we spoke about at half time, guys, when we were speaking about what Hibs are going to look like throughout the season, how to be more consistent, and there has to be a stage where you manage the game and you move the ball and you just take everything away from the opposition. They didn't. They lacked a bit of intensity. The pressing went out the window, and they looked very easy to play through at times. And against better opposition, you will be punished, especially on the European stage. There was looseness in that second half as well, which David Gray and his coaching staff won't be happy about. But at the same time, for that bit of negatives, there was lots of positives to take. O'Neldon at times looked fantastic. Can he be more ruthless in front of goal? I think that's still to come from him. Martin Boyle again shows that he's still the go-to man for Hibs when called upon. Nathan Lowe, I thought, had a solid game for Hibs. I thought he was combative. I thought his chance came his way. He was in a good area, takes it away, and he'd maybe be disappointed he didn't get another one or two. But there was positives. But at the same time, you've got to look at the game. You're here to analyse the game over the course of 90 minutes. The last 20 minutes was really poor, if I'm being totally honest, if you take into where they were in the game and the opposition they were playing against.
That take the shine off it a wee bit, Rory?
I think the fact that they conceded a goal and had to go to the corner and see the game out, it probably did slightly, but ultimately, as Tom says, they are through the tie. I just wonder with the goalkeeper going long with it. I mean, it looked so deliberate. Normally teams are more direct these days, David. The first couple of passes are still maybe into the centre-back, into another centre-back, work it out to a full-back and then go. It just seemed very deliberate, so I don't know if it was a case of get the ball forward, get the crowd on side, get it up to the big man up top, throw-ins, corner kicks, chances, and that worked a treat. And I don't know whether that's just something which continued throughout the game, even when they were 4-0 up. That's where players need to take responsibility and recognise it on the pitch and say, right, the game is now developed into a position and situation where we need to trust ourselves as football players and keep the ball slightly better.
At the same time though, Rory, with that situation, if you're a manager and you don't want that to happen, it's quite easy to shout on and say that doesn't happen again. And as if they were just happy to be as far away from our goal as possible, and I understand that, but I just think for the calibre of player that Hibs now have in their squad, I think they can be better than just booming it from hand at every opportunity.
I do as well, but ultimately the tactic in the first half worked, and they got the ball forward early, they got the crowd on side, they got the goals, so it worked, and there was some nice play involved in that as well. So whether it comes from the manager with 20 minutes to go, the players, it has to come from somebody. But they are, just Tom says, through the tie, and ultimately that's 2-0 down, that's what you want.
Do you think that's just a tactic for tonight to get through the tie, or do you think that might be something you'll be seeing more of as the domestic season dawns?
I hope so, but listen, there's a time and place for it. You know, at times with low up front, when you're under pressure, you need to get the ball up the pitch. I'm not saying you should never do it, but I would like to think that tonight it was a deliberate tactic, and moving forward there's going to be a bigger picture and more variety in their play, because it did seem tonight very deliberate. So to answer your question, I would like to think there would be a little bit more variety moving forward in the league campaign.
Bit more finesse perhaps. Well, Hibernian go through to the third qualifying round, as do Motherwell. We'll hear later, all being well, from the Hibs head coach David Gray, but right now we can hear from Motherwell's manager Alfred Johansson.
Delighted about the intensity of the team, that we managed to be brave enough to play the way that we want to play football, also away from home, and obviously delighted with the result. It was a good performance. I think the pitch was good. It was wet, it was fast, so we could play our style. So yeah, but again, all the credit to the players to be brave enough to do it away from home in Europe. We were really strong defensively, and we put all the intensity and the aggressivity that's needed. So we did not make them bully us with the physicality and the long balls that they want to put. I think we controlled that really well. So all the credit to the players once again. The result of the 2 legs, it's difficult to make it better, right? You score 5 and you concede 0. We didn't keep them totally quiet from chances over the 2 legs. They had a couple of chances in both legs as well, but overall I think we were superior in terms of chance creation against this team. I think we are well prepared. I think we've shown that over the course of the 2 legs here, but it's not to be comfortable or complacent or anything from that fact now that we went through here, because what brought us to this point now is that we've been working really, really hard. And I think that when some of our players still are not ready to play 90 minutes in a game like this, then we also need to be humble enough to admit that we still have a distance to go before we're performing and everyone is on fire like the way we want. So we still have a lot of steps to take, but all the credit to the players after these 2 legs.
There you go, Tom. What did you make of what the Motherwell manager had to say there? He's pleased with the intensity and the bravery, but they're still a way away from the finished article.
I agree completely with him. Yeah, spot on. You can't be the finished article after 2 competitive games in Europe. You can't be. But I think he will have seen enough there that's encouraging. He will see a team adopting to his methods, which were the very similar methods to Jens Bartolascu. And I think he will see an honesty and an appetite for work, and he will see goals in his team. He will see a bit of defensive stability, albeit in the context of them playing against a team that's not very good. But you can only beat what's in front of you. You can only score goals what's in front of you. And they must now go into the league season feeling good about themselves. They'll have a few players to come in. They've got a bit of money to spend, but they're going into the league season with momentum and from a position of strength. I like the cut of this manager's jib, I must say. I really think he talks well. I think his team plays well. I hope I'm not making him a hostage to fortune by giving them all this praise. But I like what his players are doing.
Tom likes the cut of the new Motherwell manager's jib. Scott, what are your thoughts on what you've heard from him and seen from his team?
Yeah, I would have to echo what Tom says there. I think to play with that same control which we've seen under Jens Bartolascu, it was always going to be difficult, especially when you look at the calibre of player they've essentially lost their best players, their most experienced players, and Paul McGinn, Stephen O'Donnell aren't fit, and you've had to try and find a way. And that is when I compare both teams, Motherwell and Hibs. See last season what we've seen of Motherwell, see when a player wasn't fit, nothing changed. They had a clear way of playing and they just came into the system and they still had the same control and they still created the same sort of chances. It looks similar again. He looks as if he's came in, he's understood that was very effective in this league. I think the assistant manager that worked under Jens is still there at this moment in time as well, so we'll obviously be learning bits from him. and they look to be going in the same manner. Yes, you've lost your Just, who's for me he was a standout player in the Premiership last season, but a clean sheet and scoring goals over 2 European ties is very impressive, and it all leads to a fantastic game here on Sunday.
I'm not sure if you would have seen you wouldn't have seen Motherwell tonight, Rory.
Did you see? I seen some of it down in the lounge.
Yeah.
I wasn't invited into the lounge. only former Hibs players.
Well, I enjoy watching them. I enjoyed watching them last season, but tonight I enjoyed watching Charles Cook, and I enjoyed watching Side last week. I just think there's I just wonder if these are maybe the flair players that will be stepping up a wee bit this season, maybe more reliance on them this year.
Well, Said for me was one of the main cogs last year. I think he played large portions of the season and played very well. He's strong, he's physical, he's one of these players, it looks like you just can't get him off the ball because he's so strong, but no, I think he was very important to them. Regan Charles Cook, more of a fringe player, David, for sure, last season. I covered the game up at Pittodrie in the Cup, and he scored a cracking goal, and he's shown with Ross County he's capable at this level. So having had a good start to the season and grabbing a goal tonight, I don't see any reason why Regan Charles Cook can't force his way into the side. He's also been there for enough time now where it was a bit of a settled team last year. I think it was really difficult to get into that team because the manager had his players. I know he did rotate from time to time, but he had his go-to and his set players that he liked, and Regan Charles Cook just seemed to fall short when it came to the important games. So he's had a good start, and that's what pre-season's for, and that's what these games are for.
I'm just thinking in terms of side, maybe some more goal contributions.
Well, like if he starts hitting the back of the net, then he's worth a lot of money.
Yeah.
Because he's got nearly everything else, doesn't he? He's got a load of trickery. He's got a lot of invention, a lot of creativity. He's a poor finisher, but if they can turn him into a finisher, wow, that is some asset to have.
Yeah, and Mas Wanisi back in the mix tonight.
Yeah, back in the mix. Yeah, interested to see if they hold on to him. It'd be great if they did, because again, we've seen peak Mas Wanisi last season.
Well, he's got a rival in the goal scoring charts already, hasn't he?
I thought he was. Listen, I thought he was outstanding. I mean, everyone thought he was outstanding. I think he maybe went off the boil a little bit, but he is a talent. He can be a consistent goal scorer for them. He can be a menace. He's good on assists. He's just again another player to get you off your seat.
He's also an example, Tom, of people talk about the players that have improved in Motherwell's style of play. See, the first season he was at Motherwell and he was kind of a bit part. He would come on, and for me, with all the will in the world, he looked like he had legs. He was quick. For me, he looked quite raw, a bit rash. He would run in behind, he would score some, he would miss some, and it just, I wouldn't have thought that he would be the type of player that would fit into that style of play. For me, he was a typical winger at that point who, blew hot and cold. You never knew what you were really going to get from him. But it just shows you with the right club, the right manager, etc., that all types of players are capable of playing with clear messaging.
Is that in terms of the job Bertolasco did on him, is that a tactical thing, or do you think it's a psychology thing, or is it a bit of both? Like, Bertolasco understood footballers about how to get the best out of them, but do you think did he change his team for him, or was it just that he changed to help his psychology?
No, all the players that we speak about in Motherwell last year benefited from the structure that Jens Bertolasco put in place. It allowed them to play without fear, first and foremost, allowed them to control games. So once you get that control in games of football, you then get these guys in consistently to go and create, to go and cause problems, and that is why it was so impressive what he done last year. So ultimately that then gives him the freedom to show what he's good at, and any footballer will tell you, when you get to play that style of play, the belief that it comes in is incredible, and it allows you to show the things you're good at, and that's the one thing that Jens Bertolasco, and that's why he also left the country and went to a higher level within a year of the work that he put in. But that was coached every day from a certain structure, and it got the best out all the squad, not just one or two players, all the squad. Yeah,
and the Hibs welcome Motherwell to Easter Road at the weekend. It's a Sunday. Was it a 4:30 kick-off on that one? I mean, that's set up nicely just with the wee preview I've had of both sides tonight, Rory.
Yeah, I mean, obviously I've watched the Hibs game here tonight. I thought they looked good offensively, really good offensively. Mulligan's a really good player. I think another good 6 months out of him, I think they'll struggle to keep a hold of him if he performs like he did in the first half of last season. So yeah, it's I think all the games across the full weekend are now thought, and I'm really looking forward to them all. But there's only one man that's managed to watch Motherwell and Hibs tonight, and that's Tom. So he's the go-to man for the prediction for Sunday, if you're about to ask me.
No, not
David.
yet. It's early days. I'll get to that later. I'm the
worst tipster in the world, Rory.
I'll get to that later on. But listening to you guys commentating on Hibs, and you were talking about a wee degree of slackness, but that was also evident a wee bit in some of the passing from Motherwell. If I was to look at any negative points tonight, there was some maybe teething problems.
Well, that's entirely understandable, isn't it? I mean, there's some new players in this team, new manager. He's trying, maybe the lads would definitely be better qualified to judge how are there differences between Bertolascu and a new manager. Are there subtle differences? But there will be differences. He'll want to do things slightly differently in different areas of the pitch. So all of that, I mean, remember, it's 2 games. So it's only their second competitive game. I think they've actually hit the ground running very nicely.
Also, can I just add that I've not seen Motherwell, but it sounds to me from what you guys are saying that any mistakes Motherwell made, they made them trying to do the right thing and what the manager was asking of them. Whereas from a Hibs point of view, their mistakes came from me at times from a lack of understanding and a lack of movement around them and knowing where the next pass was going to be before they received the ball. So, and
that comes of a position of Hibs having continuity throughout their squad and the coaching staff and most of the players, Rory. It's a great point you make.
There you go, Tom. That point has been answered.
Well, there you go. And no, listen, I think on both fronts, Hibs. Look, they've won 4-1. They made it maybe hard work of it towards the end, but they built a very, very solid platform. I think there's a lot of good things. We were discussing this at halftime. There's a lot of good things in this Hibs team and this Hibs squad. I'm really interested to see if they can get that precious commodity of consistency going, because if they can't, there's loads of goals in this team. There's a lot of creativity in this team. Defensively, I'd still worry about them a little bit. And as regards Motherwell, it's a very, very interesting work in progress there.
Well,
there's a lot of. I mean, you go through all the teams in the Premiership, and there's interesting aspects to all of them. And certainly, Motherwell and Hibs at the weekend is. That's one to watch.
Well, Motherwell added Alex Lowry this week. I suppose after a burst of transfer activity for both clubs earlier, it's maybe slowed down a wee bit in terms of Hibs. Scott, what do you think they're still lacking if they are to improve on last season's performances and finish in the league?
Well, the obvious for me is obviously Jamie McGrath being he is your most creative player, and him being out injured isn't ideal for David Gray. Can you maybe bring in someone else so if he isn't fit, can come in and give you that same level of finesse in the final third? I think he would be. You put him in that team tonight, I think he probably gets 3 or 4 assists on the way that game went tonight. I think they probably need another striker as well. I think you'd expect a few to go, and I think they're actively looking for another striker. So it's still early days, still time to go in the transfer window, and you obviously go into Motherwell. Lowry comes in. Listen, he's a kid we've heard about for years with fantastic levels of ability. But you have to go and now show that consistently and make yourself a regular in somewhere. He wasn't a regular at Wickham. Can he make himself a regular at Motherwell in a great system which should allow someone with that sort of ability to flourish? So the onus is on him now. He go and take the bull by the horns. And I think they'll still get players in. Motherwell still get a lot of experience to come back into the squad as well. So what they've looked like over the course of the last 2 games, I've been really impressed with, because considering what's been available to them. And you throw in the mix, they've lost Elliot Watt, who's a key player in how they played last year, and Eliza Just, who, as I said, was a standout player in the Premiership for me.
So Rory, Scott's saying there someone to deputise, as it were, or maybe even take over from Jamie McGrath, and a striker. What do you think? Which areas do you think they're maybe just a wee bit lacking at the moment?
Yeah, I think Scott's absolutely right. I would possibly be looking at another centre back as well, just to add a little bit more solidity. I think Jason Kerr looked like he was good, but a club like Hibs maybe can't at this stage, having already invested a little bit, go and get 3 players in that position they feel will improve the squad. Clubs like Hibs as well and Motherwell, etc., they're victims of a much bigger food chain as well. You need to wait and wait and wait on a lot of things falling into place above you, players moving on to move to certain clubs, and then other clubs will maybe start looking at their second, third choice, and that's when, a couple of weeks with the window left, where you've maybe played a couple of league games, that players who you thought weren't maybe available become available, so you don't want to go too early. It is a fine balancing act, but Hibs and Motherwell have both got some signings in. The fans will be hoping for more, but it's important that the timing's right and you get quality in. Players that are going to improve the starting 11 is what you would want. So if they can find that, and the clubs that do find that, recruitment is huge, as we know, will be the ones that go on and have a right good season.
This always strikes me as a wee bit strange, Tom, that the season starts and then a month later the transfer window closes.
Well, I think there are a lot of strange things in football, David.
Well.
And that's of all the strange things, that's the least strangest of them all.
Strangest one of the week for you, Tom?
Oh, no, I think the strangest one was Mr. Infantino.
I knew you were going to say that.
But Mr. Infantino has got his comeuppance from the 55 UEFA nations today, and other federations. So let's see how that one plays out.
You just have to, for the listeners, Tom, who are maybe not familiar with that story, you just have to go through it.
Who's not familiar with this story?
Well, there might be one or two people that haven't been.
This was Gianni Infantino, president of FIFA, basically trying to sell the World Cup to private equity firms. The lead investor of this lead firm being Joshua Kushner.
Familiar name?
Brother of the President Trump's son-in-law. And he arranged this deal, and he didn't tell any of these federations. None of them knew about this. This was done entirely in secret. And then he gave them a deadline of September the 19th, I think, to signal their approval of this. And they were all going to get $20 million up front, plus a promise of another $20 million as part of this monumental money grab. FIFA have, I think, 4 to 6 billion in reserves at the moment. They've made an estimated $15 billion from the World Cup. That's not part of the current reserves. How much money is enough money? And well, there's never enough for Infantino. So I think this is a great opportunity. So the UEFA nation said they won't be playing in the next World Cup.
All 55? All
55 unanimous, including the SFA, said it would not be playing in the next World Cup if this thing was to go through. And 211 FIFA nations just needed a simple majority. But I think this might well scupper it. And the next thing is, what happens to Infantino? Can global football really accept this man as the leader of FIFA? Given what he's
might
tried.
Say he's just came in off the back of the richest ever World Cup. It was a tremendous success. What happened in America?
Well, yeah.
I'm just putting the devil's advocate position.
Well, okay. Well, the devil's advocate position is all very well. But if you sell out to private equity and you give them in or around a 20% stake in the World Cup, then private equity are not known for their philanthropy. So what are they getting out of it? Do they want the World Cup for bang for their buck? Do they want the World Cup to be every 2 years? Do they want, and they're getting the World Club Cup as well, do they want that every year? What do they want? So it was just a complete sellout, and it was done in secret. And UEFA have given them their answer today, right between the eyes, both barrels. So Infantino will be hurting tonight. I think his project is in tatters. And what I would love to see the UEFA nations imagine a new FIFA. Just create a new FIFA. Create a new governing body, because FIFA under Infantino is a busted flush now. This man is discredited beyond words. And I don't know how any federation who have opposed this scheme that he's come up with could now go back to normal and say, okay, this idea has been defeated, right? We carry on as normal with Infantino as president. Surely that boat has sailed now. Anyway, that's my rant over.
Any of you chaps like to comment on Tom's monologue there?
That was actually.
Do you go along with it?
It's incredible that that's even went on behind closed doors. To be quite honest with you, in football, listen, as Tom touched on there about the amount of money that they have in reserve, they kind of go down this route and sell it to Donald Trump's his son's brother. Is that what Tom said?
His son-in-law's brother.
Son-in-law's brother. Sorry.
Yeah.
Incredible. That is incredible listening, really.
I knew all about it, to be fair, to an extent, but listening to the finer detail there from Tom and the ins and outs of it all, it beggars belief.
Well, some might say, listen, he's just trying to bring more money into football, spread the money around the world. 15 million. Some associations.
There's no devil's advocate in this one.
Listen, I'm sure some associations across the world would bite his hand off for $15 million.
And plenty of associations have signalled their absolute wholehearted backing for this. It's a smaller, and you can understand the smaller federations that have very little money, and they'll see $20 million and then a promise of another $20 million. This is manna from heaven.
Is it a possibility, Tom, this is just a distraction, and they say, right, okay, forget about your private equity involving the Kushners, etc. But okay, if you don't try and that's bit in the dust, but maybe we'll expand it. What was it, 64 teams for the World Cup? Maybe that doesn't seem so bad in light of what could have happened.
I don't know. I don't know. All I know is that this Infantino character is. I'm not. I'll choose my words carefully. It is. I don't think he's good news for football. I don't, and I think more and more federations would accept that he's not good for football. And what are they going to do about it? Now, delighted to see UEFA grew a backbone and said, no, we're not standing for this. This is an affront to the game. It's not for World Cup is not for sale. It's not the plaything of private equity. So they come in and they could change all the ticketing prices. So the ticketing prices were an abomination in the World Cup. You bring in private equity for the next World Cup. They say, all right, we're going to double the prices. We're going to triple the prices. We're not really interested in the football fan. We just want moneyed people in our stadiums. And by the way,
I'm no business expert, but if they're only owning 20%, that's not a controlling stake, though, Tom.
Yeah, but then FIFA have another 20-something. Oh no, FIFA have a controlling interest.
That's just the start of something, wouldn't it be?
Yeah. I mean, I'm telling you, you let the venture capitalists in the door. Watch out.
It's a world away. So anyway, a world away from jumpers for goalposts back in the day. But anyway, it's a world away from the Europa Conference League qualifiers as well. But let's get back to that, because Brian McLaughlin has wrangled the Hibs manager David Gray after his side secured progression to the next round.
Yes, David, I won't tell you what he said about the seagulls that are overhead at the moment. You'll need to be quick. Yeah, David, first of all, congratulations. You're through to the next stage. A fantastic start. A bit nervy at the end?
Well, I think you talk about the start. I think that's what I really want to focus on. So I want to focus on the reaction, what I asked for the players. We spoke about the intensity we want to play at, the intent right from the start to play forward, to run forward, to get the crowd to get behind us, and that's the biggest thing. The disappointment of last week was always there, but I've seen it in training, as I said, one thing, and then take it into the game, and they fully deserved to win tonight, and we should have been out of sight with the chances we created. We had the woodwork a few times, missed 3 or 4 big chances, so if we're a bit more clinical, it would have been a much more comfortable towards the end. And like you say, whilst it was in the balance, that goal right at the very end made it a little bit edgy, but at the same time, fully deserved everything they got for it tonight, and I'm delighted for them.
Owen Elding had some numerous chances as well, and I thought the front three as a whole actually played really well tonight. Is that the way going forward that you're looking at?
I think we've got real good options. I think it really depends. I've always spoke about being flexible. It's not a case of, I think, the addition of Nathan and what he brings that focal point, so you can vary the way you want to play around that. And you've just touched on the front three. I thought they all scored. They were all very good tonight. I don't really want to single anybody out, because collectively I think everything I spoke about to the players and what I asked them to do, I certainly got. And so I'm delighted for them, because they deserved it. It's now a case of, right, we're in the next round, that feel-good factor, and we can then build on, take that momentum into the next league game, the first league game of the season here at home against Motherwell, feeling good about ourselves, which is great.
speak about the league game on Sunday first of all in a moment, but it is North Macedonia next. Do you know anything at all about your opponents?
Yeah, well, we've watched. You always look to do your due diligence, so I've watched it the last leg, watched the game. It's a very tight game. I've obviously not seen it tonight. I think they won, was it 2-1 or 3-1 on the night tonight? Yeah. So they went through, so now I know where we're going, and obviously now the attention fully focuses on firstly Motherwell, and then from there obviously what we're going to face next. But the big thing is we're ready for that. That's what everyone's been geared up for pre-season. That's Sunday, Thursday. We want that to be for as long as we can.
Motherwell 5-0 overall against Shavin. What do you expect from them this season, and in terms of a new manager coming in as well, although they played very similar to what they played last season tonight? Yeah,
I've watched them a couple of times pre-season. I went to one of the pre-season games against Ghent, and I caught a bit of it tonight actually in the build-up to the game today. So I expect very, very similar, as you say, play a very similar way. The coach obviously wants to play a similar way, and rightly so, because they were so successful last season. The players have responded well to the way they play, so we know it'll be a difficult test here, but we're really focusing on us, and we're focusing on taking that momentum from tonight and going into the game with confidence. We want to start the season as well as you can. Home game, first league game of the season, great opportunity to try and get 3 points.
Finally, a sense of relief you're through tonight, was there? Because you were always confident yesterday when we spoke, and again tonight about how you would approach this game, but the way that they started seemed to ease a lot of the stress and strain, or maybe not.
No, I think it's one of them. I think it's certainly different from a coach winning games or being involved in games to being a player. That's one thing I've definitely learned. So 5 minutes you go brilliant, really excited, and then relief kicks in regardless, and then it's the next game. So as a player you just enjoy it until the next game because you feel good about yourself. As a coach you enjoy it for 2 minutes and you go, well, the next one. Thanks very much.
I'll let you go and avoid these seagulls, David. Well done.
Thanks very much. Cheers.
There you go, that's David Gray with Brian McLaughlin. Scotty's already stressing about the next game.
Yeah, that's the reality of a manager. They'll know that's a tough game. He obviously said he watched bits of Motherwell tonight and seen them in the pre-season friendly against Genk, and if it's anything like Motherwell played against Hibs last season, he'll know it'll be a difficult game. But at the same time, there is lots of positives to take from Hibs tonight, especially in that front area of the park where they looked very creative at times. There was lots of given goals and chances created. In another night it could have been 6 or 7. There's no getting away from that, but he'll know it'll be a difficult game. But I'll be back here on Sunday and I'm really looking forward to it.
Yeah, he's hoping for Rory Sunday, Thursday, no doubt, long into the new year. But that European participation brings with it its own kind of, well, it can bring that wee European hangover that bleeds into the domestic fixtures. Do you think Hibs are robust enough to go all guns blazing on two fronts?
It's difficult to say. I think how they get on in their next tie will dictate whether they go back to the market, how much they spend, how many players they bring in, because at this point in time they don't want to have a bloated squad if they're not competing in Europe after during the league phase of any competition, and they don't want to be left short if they are. So I don't think at this moment in time it's easy to predict what it's going to look like. However, what I will say is, as a player, and I can imagine as a manager, regardless of the situation, you want to be playing on a Thursday and a Sunday, because you want to be playing at the highest level possible. You want to be going on these European trips, experiencing games abroad, everything that comes with that. So I don't think the players, the manager probably will, to be fair. I don't think the players for sure will be thinking about the fact that they'll be playing Thursday, Sunday just now with any trepidation. They'll be looking at it going, we can qualify for a major European competition group stage, and that's what we aim to do.
Yeah, David Gray was sounded animated, excited there, Tom, and also, as Brian said, relieved, and you can understand that.
Absolutely, relieved, excited, all of those things. That was an awkward one for him. And I think that stadium could have really turned if they got off to a bad start and if they'd lost the tie. That stadium, because there's an element amongst maybe a growing element amongst the Hibs fans that were waiting in the long grass, but for David Gray. But that's look, they've got through it. They're into the next round. They'll have a bit of confidence from that. They have a lot of work to do, an awful lot of work to do. But they're through, and it's a bit of respite, and they'll go into the league season now on the back of a successful tie. I mean, it was hairy, and it was the first leg of it was unnecessarily fraught, but they repaired the damage.
As they say, they go again. That's it for tonight from the team, folks. Congratulations to Motherwell and Hibernian. They both live to fight another day in the Europa Conference League qualifiers. My thanks to Scott Allen, Rory Loy, Thomas Duncan, James McFadden, Tom English and Brian McLaughlin, not to mention Alistair Lamont for commentating on the first part of tonight's double header. The new Premiership season starts tomorrow night as Dundee United host Rangers. Kick-off is at 8 o'clock at Tannadice. Sports Sound is on air from 6 with a build-up and live commentary. But that's it from us. Now on BBC Radio Scotland, we wish you a good night as we join Up Late with Lynn Hogan.
I've got some new Scottish music for you now. Blair Davey, we've played him on the show before. You've maybe heard of him. He's got a new EP coming out. It's due out on the 9th of September. It's called You Like Ugly, Don't You Babe? And this is the latest single